good. Finally. God damn it.
It's been coming for a long time. No, I just wanted to start out this podcast this week by saying I've changed my caffeine intake this week, and I like the one I'm eating for lunch and stuff, and I think it's got me kind of low powered. So I feel like I've been like some of the dojos this week have been a little low powered.
I'm gonna buy you a pre-workout, and then before we do a podcast, you and I are just gonna take as much pre-workout as we can and try to get through.
Fucking Slim Fast and Red Bull mixed together. It sounds
baby. We're gonna get through this podcast in 20 minutes or less.
I got a lot of energy and I'm full as fuck. Like, ew, gross. It's like I've never understood the thing where people eat a big meal and then they're like, you know what I need is a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, because what you want to be is like, you know, all full and sloshing around, but also full of energy.
Just so we're clear, though, they're drinking that coffee because it's also a laxative and they just need to get all that shit out of them.
Yeah.
They're like, I am full. I'm going to drink some coffee and then I'm going to poop for a while.
Speaking of pooping for a while,
welcome to RageSelect.
Time for the RageSelect podcast. You're RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
I'm Amanda. Leave it in the comments below. Are you pooping right now while listening to us?
I feel kind of bad because the last 2 weeks the gaming news has been real pedestrian, and this week it's kind of the same where we've kind of got a greatest hits. Like it's
is it because it's San Diego Comic-Con and you're really not going to get through on nerd news unless you're something that's happening there?
It's possible. I just think that like we're in a bit of a lull between the kind of E3, non-E3 Summer Games Fest madness,
and then you'll start hitting the holiday shit.
Well, and then there were like a bunch of like State of Play and a Nintendo Direct and that kind of stuff that was kind of after that, but it's kind of petered out to the point where, again, you're going to have a lot of... You could probably take old RageSelect podcasts and cut them up and make this week's RageSelect podcast, except that we're gonna try our best to not... I'm going to try my best not to just say the same thing that I say all the time, and anybody who listens to this podcast should know I'm probably not going to succeed.
Yeah. Fair.
But before we get to the podcast... I don't know. I watched some stuff last week. I watched Bob's Burgers, the movie that came on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah.
It was fine. It was just 2 hours of Bob's Burgers.
I was going to say, it looked like it was just an episode.
But I also watched Lightyear.
The Chris Evans... The Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear. It's like the movie that Andy watched that made him want the Buzz Lightyear. They have a whole. It's not a good sign when your movie starts with an explanation of what the fuck you're watching.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is the movie that Andy watched that made him want the Buzz Lightyear toy. And you know, it was fine. Like there's been this kind of weird, like that movie flopped real hard.
Yeah.
And I think that the entire reason that it flopped real hard was because like the concept didn't make sense to anybody. Where you were like, I understand Toy Story. I understand the Buzz Lightyear animated series. And then they put out this trailer for Lightyear and it's fucking David Bowie and all this weird. And you're just like, what is this? Is the next one like a gritty cowboy movie starring
right? Oh, Woody.
Woody. Yeah. Oh man, it would be really cool. Actually, I was thinking during the movie that if they wanted, like, because it's very slick, it was fine. It was a beginning and a middle and end. It had some kind of cool, like the concept of it is that they're trying to like. There's these time jumps that happen where every time Buzz Lightyear goes out, it's like he jumps forward in time, and then it's like one time he comes back and everything is all fucked up and he's got to figure out what happened. Very standard movie shit.
Yeah.
He's at the beginning of the movie.
Is this like baby's first sci-fi?
Kind of. I mean, like, listen, Amanda.
Yes.
Let me tell you some things about Lightyear and you can extrapolate. Your mind will just know exactly what's happening. Buzz Lightyear starts that movie and he's just like, I work alone. I don't need help from anyone.
A ragtag group of buddies that become his buddies.
Oh, gee, how did you figure that out?
I wrote Lightyear. Now's a good time to tell you.
It's fine, but what I thought would have been really interesting was that because of the time frame of Toy Story, if they had made it in the style of like a late 80s, early 90s, when we were doing like, you know, the Lost in Space with fucking what's his face from Friends, the reboot, like
Matt
some
LeBlanc
of those,
and
some of those cheesy Wing Commander, you know, some of those sci-fi movies from the early '90s. If they had made it look like kind of shitty as like a throwback.
Yeah.
Even you probably could have gotten away with making it an 80s thing and just been like, oh yeah, Andy always like wanted this on VHS. We always rented it all the time, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
Because it would have given it a little bit more flavor. I think that's the thing that maybe stops it the most, is that it's just like kind of generic.
Yeah.
Like Buzz Lightyear's character was never, I mean, Buzz Lightyear the toy had an interesting arc, you know, like kind of coming to terms with the thing, but like there is no, oh, it turns out I'm a toy Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff, but it's just not, I don't think it's great. The problem is, I think that some of the stuff that makes it interesting, you would have to say too much about it, and then what tiny engagement there is about like, oh, that's kind of cool, would be gone.
Do you think it would have benefited from just being Disney Pixar is doing a sci-fi space movie and not, we really need it to be Buzz Lightyear so that you know and recognize that it's Buzz Lightyear?
See, here's the thing. I think that it would have been perfect if they just had launched it on Disney Plus. Like asking people to go in the theater right now, especially.
You don't pay for Chris Evans just to launch on Disney Plus.
I don't know, man. Isn't Chris Evans in that fucking Netflix
movie? Yeah, the Gray
that
Man.
comes out this week. Yeah,
with his mustache out like a fucking
white pants and a porn stash.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's horrifying.
So anyway, I thought it was fine. It's actually coming out like in a week and a half on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I like, if you've got Disney Plus because you're watching fucking Baby Yoda show and you know, the latest whatever Marvel's doing, you know, maybe turn it on. I guess She-Hulk is coming pretty soon.
August 17th. Not that I'm counting, but you know.
Signed up for She-Hulk. Watch Lightyear. I mean, I don't know. It's like, my brain kind of wants to compare it to Encanto was better. Raya was worse. It's between Encanto and Raya as just like, hey man, that was like an hour and 40 minutes. It had a beginning and a middle and an end. The character learned and growed, and then there's a pop song at the end of the movie.
Of course there is.
The end.
Yeah.
So I also signed up for High Dive last week, and so there's like 18 more anime that I'm watching.
I gotta watch them all.
The first episode of Your Boy Kong Ming is really good, like everybody keeps saying.
Yeah.
It's just a real shame that it's on like a whole separate streaming network that you have to sign up for. But I don't know. What about you? Have you watched anything? You seen anything? You listened to anything? Smell anything cool last week?
No, but I am keeping up with the San Diego Comic-Con news because this is the first time in a while that we've had like San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, the actual, in person.
Like there was like Hall H panels and shit like that.
Sure.
And the D&D trailer came out.
Oh, did it?
Yes. I
haven't seen it.
D&D movie. Yeah. So Chris Pine is like a bard ish character. Like he's a bard, but it seems like he's like reluctant bard. Michelle Rodriguez is a barbarian. You got I'm gonna watch it for Jaden Smith. I'm a big Jaden Smith, not Jaden Smith, excuse me. Now I can't think of his name.
Who?
It's Smith, but it's not a Jaden.
Willow Smith.
No. It's not like he's not related. Justice Smith.
Justice Smith.
I don't know. I was thinking Jaden Smith, but Justice Smith is
this Eberron?
It's
is this fucking Eberron?
But
get the fuck out of here. Give me a Ravenloft movie, you cowards.
But it looks fun, and I want a fun action popcorny movie that's not Marvel.
Wait, hold on.
This is what I want.
Hold on, Amanda.
Yes, sir.
This dragon in the first 30 seconds appears to just be vomiting on people.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be like
I'm like 90% sure that's tar.
Okay.
But I also am not 100% sure that's tar.
Okay.
He could have just been like, too much Chipotle.
Oh, God, I drank so much Jägermeister last night.
But I don't know. It looks kind of fun. Everyone was like, why would you want to watch this when the first Dungeons & Dragons movie with Marlon Wayans sucked balls? And I'm like, oh, I had fun with that one too. So like,
why would you not want to watch the one that sucks balls? Jeremy Irons is just out there.
It's fucking great. And like
grabbing rocks and shoving them in his mouth.
There's just like weird random shit in that movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really fun. And this looks really fun too. Like, it's just to me, a generic action movie. Like, I'm fucking down.
Well, that's the thing about D&D, right? Is that like and look, man, don't at me, fucking nerds. All right, like, but there's the whole thing about D&D is that there's not a specific story.
Yeah,
you're making your own story, right? So it's very like just kind of a setting. It seems like it would be perfect for this sort of thing. I guess I bet though this shit is only happening because Critical Role.
That's the running like theory about it.
Like they would never put this much money on the screen if it wasn't for the success.
I don't know. I think everything right now is like if it has a name and is faintly related to
is that Hugh Grant?
Yes. We have
gelatinous
I have
cube?
a friend.
Okay, I want to watch this.
Right? First of all, somebody on Facebook, I saw a friend of mine posted the trailer, and then somebody on Facebook was like, Hugh Grant really let himself go. And I was like, outlandishly upset. I was never particularly attracted to Hugh Grant, but like, he's 61 years old, first of all. Second of all, he still looks great and could get it anytime he wants. So like, shut up.
And that's Michelle Rodriguez.
That is Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah. Do you think anyone that's worked with Vin Diesel would say no to a D&D role? Like,
that's true. That's true.
Who's friends with Vin Diesel and goes, nah, I don't want to do anything on D&D? I bet he forced her into it.
She's like one of the characters that he has tattooed on him or whatever.
Right, yeah. Actually, she's playing his character. They're going to Lego movie it, and then he's going to be playing her.
God damn it. Then it zooms out, and it's fucking Dominic Toretto. He's got all
it's actually Fast and Furious. It's like fucking Ludacris's Chris Pine and shit. Yeah,
yep. That'd be great. And then they have to drive real fast. And the fucking bad guys
they're
break
like,
in.
I rolled a nat 20, and they're like, yeah, the family, and then drive somewhere. I don't know how. Does that how Fast and Furious works?
It's a real weird end to this movie. Yeah, I don't know. This looks fine. I feel really bad, Amanda, because I feel like when I first started RageSelect, that I had very strong feelings about a lot of things, but like we're just so goddamn inundated with things where it's like at some point I'm kind of like I think I could just watch a trash movie. I was just talking about like Wing Commander and you know.
What was the other one?
There's Space, Lost in Space, which is not a good movie, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird and silly, like The Last Starfighter, you know. So I could get down on that. I
think it's exactly what it should be. It's just a whimsical adventure.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know how y'all play D&D, but that's how I play D&D.
Also, I don't know. I think the other thing is the reason I don't have such strong feelings for this shit anymore is because I'm tired of having to have strong feelings about everything.
Right. It doesn't have to be a battle. Maybe I could just enjoy the thing.
You can just be like, well, that looks like some crap that I'll watch once and then never watch again.
And I think that we need more movies that is just crap that you'll watch once and leave the theater and go, you know what, that was fun. And then and you talk about it the next day and then you'll forget that it ever happened and then you never remember it ever again. And that's fine. I don't think every movie has to be like a masterpiece.
Sometimes I have to point out that like I sometimes feel that people that are my age or older tend to forget that like in the 80s and 90s there were a lot of shit movies and television shows.
Yep.
People are just like, movies aren't as good as they used to be. And I'm like, no. You're just remembering like the best 1% of the movies that you watched when you were young.
Yeah.
Like Red Letter Media did a review for The Black Phone, and they were pointing out at the very beginning that like, it was like, oh yeah, I watched Searching for Bobby Fischer last night. And Mike Stokowski or whatever, he was like, they put that movie out in theaters. Yeah. Like it was boring. It was a boring movie.
Yeah,
and they put that like at the multiplex for people to watch. Like, so yeah, I say let's get more boring.
Give me mid-tier movies. I live and breathe mid-tier movies.
Yes, I don't want hot takes. I just want to watch some shit.
I just want to enjoy a fucking movie.
I don't know. I gotta watch that new Resident Evil show on Netflix, but I can't bring myself to start.
My brother keeps trying to pressure me into it, and I feel like that pressure means I'm not going to watch it, and not in a like somebody that hounds you to do something and then you're like, I'm never going to do it. But in like a, I don't know. This feels like a trap. He's like, no, you should definitely watch that Resident Evil thing. And I'm like, I don't know.
That doesn't sound like something that doesn't sound like something I should do.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like you're trying to trick me into drinking this drink.
Yeah. Well, let's do some news.
Do we have to?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was trying to remember the other day what the podcast used to be like before the news apocalypse happened. Like we just talk about like 4 news stories and then answer questions. Is that what happened? I don't remember. Anyway, TennoCon was last week. I know that this is kind of like the most. I just wanted to start out with something that wasn't Blizzard. Activision Blizzard or NFTs.
Nice.
So So
I actually knew about this one with Soulframe. I knew about it before you sent these links.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, one of my close friends sent it to me and was like, bitch, we're getting this game and we're playing this game. It's a never-ending. It's not based on. It's inspired by Never-Ending Story and Princess Mononoke.
Oh,
that's their big pitch. Their big like tag of like or like elevator pitch of it is very like that.
Oh, okay.
And so she's like, yes. And then I watched part of the trailer when she sent it to me, and the first 20 seconds is a naked person, and I was like, I don't remember that in Never-Ending Story, but
not that many butt cracks in Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, which maybe I should be grateful for, but like I don't know.
You want to see the rock biter? Wait, we did see the rock biter's butt, didn't we?
Didn't we?
I think when he was riding away on his little like weird tricycle, and you see his butt.
Yeah.
I think there are butt cracks in
What the hell? I misremember. My whole childhood is a lie.
Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just making shit up. Yeah. So
maybe that was just fan fiction I looked up later. I don't want to talk about it.
This is the next game from the folks that made Warframe, and just for the record, like if you've never played Warframe before. I mean, I say it every time it comes up, Amanda, but Warframe rules. Yeah. Like, it's really fun, and the different tenos and the frames and everything. Like, and it's got like this whole like space combat thing built in, where you can fly around in a jetpack and take over ships, and you're like a weird futuristic cyber ninja.
Yeah.
And this is like a throwback, so it's like medieval.
Yeah, it's very like fantasy world. It's very nature based.
Yeah, but also it appears to have the same fucking rock solid art direction that is very specific to Warframe, of making it stand out. Like you could look at Warframe and you're just like, that's Warframe.
Yeah.
So yeah, the trailer doesn't really tell us much outside of like
naked person.
There's a bird. There's this little Tweety bird that's like all throughout the trailer.
There is also, you cannot not talk about the moose.
Yeah, the big. That
was a cool ass moose.
Yep.
That moose was like, "What up?" and then pieces out, and that shit is cool.
Yeah, just I've never seen a moose pick somebody up by the head before.
That looked, it's the first time I saw it, I remember being like super afraid of it because that's like a horrifying idea. That's like, I wouldn't mind getting bit by a horse, like except 10 times bigger because moose are huge.
Yeah.
It's just scary, man. That's scarier than sharks.
It reminds me of, there's that city in Canada where like there's this one moose that just keeps eating like the rotten fruit off the ground and gets all drunk. And then just like wanders into town where like the outdoor bars are and just fucks them all up.
That's hilarious.
And they're just like, oh God, it's fucking Jimmy. He's back. Like,
he's drunk. Get off the sauce, Jimmy.
But yeah, this looks pretty solid. Like, and the thing that's interesting about this is the director for Warframe went over to do this and then somebody else took over the Warframe kind of directing going forward. So it's kind of got the same tenor as Warframe does. Apparently it is going to be an online kind of an MMOE kind of like Warframe, but like with less shooty shoots, which is fine because you can play Warframe as a single player game and like it's fine, like it's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, this has all the hallmarks. I'm interested to see more of the actual gameplay because we just got this cinematic, which is beautiful. Yeah, but it's real striking.
Yeah.
But we all know that cinematics can lie.
Yeah. I've seen good cinematics that I'll never play.
I have more faith in Digital Extremes because they've made one product and it's been pretty good than I do in others. But it's really exciting. But what's interesting is that it's not really the only exciting thing that happened, is because they did this. They talked about how the management changes are happening for Soulframe. Rebecca Ford is taking over for Warframe. But then they also had a partnership announcement where it turns out that Digital Extremes is going to be publishing the next game by Airship Syndicate. Airship Syndicate is the company that made Darksiders Genesis, the Battle Chasers game, and that League of Legends. I think I played that with somebody else, but it was like a League of Legends MMO when they were having their big split off when they put out
like various
the Netflix show.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember the name of the Netflix show with the lady that everybody likes?
Jinx?
Yeah. Anyway, no, not Valorant. That's a whole other thing. Fuck. Anyway, Airship Syndicate is great because when the company that made Darksiders, Arcane. There you go. Thank you. When the company that made Darksiders went out of business, or when how the fuck do I say this? Fucking what's their face? The publisher went out of business. They split into two teams, and one of them was Airship Syndicate, and that's where Joe Madeira went. And then the other team was the one that kept making Darksiders. They made Darksiders 3. They made a Remnant from the Ashes and a few other things.
Yeah.
I like these guys' games better than the other guys. The other guys are more grim and gritty. I think these guys have, because they've got Joe Matt on the team, like impeccable art direction, like really solid mechanics. And what they're making is, again, I don't know why they just keep making the same thing, but they're also making an MMO, like a full-on old school MMO. And they've got some kind of pictures of it. You can see that it's very much got the art style that they are known for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like not even that much of an MMO guy, but I've liked everything that they've put out so far.
Yeah.
So I'm more than willing to give it a shot, whatever it is.
Yeah, less of it because it's an MMO, more because it's them and what they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so far, everything they've put out, I mean, I haven't beaten Battle Chasers or the League of Legends one, but Darksiders Genesis was great and really, really fun. I didn't even see the part that had on Steam Deck. Yeah. So yeah, that was the other thing that they announced, which was very cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah. It's just, for some reason, I feel like this company it's like, if you have really good art direction and then just solid gameplay mechanics, boy, you don't need much else.
Nope.
You can get away with a lot. Yeah. So let's see. From there, what have I done here? What have I done?
What have you done?
Oh, yeah. Somebody needs to tell Sean Murray to stop. Stop, Sean Murray.
Why? What's Sean Murray doing?
There's another update for No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's
another
never
huge
ending.
update called Endurance that basically overhauls the entire capital ship system to make them into basically fucking Star Trek starships where you can have like...
And we don't want that?
No, it's great. It's just, it's like you could stop anytime.
Yeah. You struck oil. You don't have to keep drilling.
You can set up, you can hire people to be on your ship. You can grow hydroponics.
God,
you can create,
that looks so fun.
like materials bays that are doing manufacturing that crank out various different things. You can walk around on the outside of the ship. They've added external windows so you can see outside of the ship. They've added, they've totally revamped the kind of topography of space. So there's now black holes, nebulas, and like more shit in the background, and they've completely redone the asteroid system. So there's more asteroids in greater number with more different shapes. So they're not just the same thing repeated over and over again. And there's like a new expedition.
God, that's beautiful.
And all kinds of shit.
So like you say stop, like you don't have to keep going, but like John and I were just talking about this with Skate.
Yeah,
I think, where they were like, it's going to be online and it's the last of its kind. We're not going to come out with another Skate. It's going to be like constantly updated, and we're just going to keep that game going.
Sure.
And
that's actually a story, but you know,
so my bad.
That was pretty much the entire story.
Yeah, No Man's Sky seems to be doing that in a sense. I don't know if they'll ever come out with a No Man's Sky 2, but like constantly updating and like making it grow. And this seems like the correct way to do it, where it's just like, this is a game that you bought and it was a different game when you first got it, and it's only grown for its own benefit and the benefit of like the people that are playing it. And I think it's impressive. I think this is an oddly new standard considering how it's humble beginnings.
So, you know, the thing that's really weird that nobody ever talks about, and so this is where I'm going to try to deviate from my normal spiel about No Man's Sky, right? Is I want everybody to close your eyes and imagine if you didn't know anything about No Man's Sky and this game came out today, you would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? It's got multiplayer and base building and fucking starships and all these planets. Like, you'd be like, this is the best game I've ever fucking played.
Yeah.
So here's my second take is I think that I want to see three things. Number one, I want to see humanoid enemies that you can shoot, that are like raiders or pirates or various other syndicates or things like that.
Yeah.
And then the next thing after that is if they were able to use their procedural generation to make roguelike planet crafted encounters. So it's like we're going to generate a base, we're going to have a planet, and then we're going to generate a base on that planet and a certain amount of bad guys or guys, right? And then have it be one of a bunch of different randomized scenarios about, like, I don't know, these guys are terrorizing the local town, or like these guys are killing off the beasts, or I don't know, they're mining too many asteroids or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you can make a starship crewed by a bunch of people and jump between planets and solve randomized encounters that are happening,
then it's Star Trek
in a variety of different ways, then all that needs to happen is for somebody to write a mod that mods this shit to be Star Trek.
Yeah, it's
and I
right
can have
there.
a fucking great Star Trek game, because it's already like you are 90% of the way there. Like,
Yeah.
I know that like what I'm asking for is hellaciously complicated and not just like just do it.
That last 10% is not there for a reason. Yeah.
But like, man, I would play the fuck out of that if they just like, oh yeah, build a starship, crew it up, jump between planets, and have yourself some adventures.
Yeah.
It's just now.
You know, it'll just turn into like people will play their various versions of it, right? You're going to have the Farscape idiots, and then you're going to have the Babylon 5 losers, and you're going to have the
I was a Farscape
the
idiot.
Star Trek nerds, and you're going to have the
Star Wars dorks.
The one weird person we don't talk about that's just Galaxy Quest, and you just like leave them be.
And then over there, that's Battlestar Galactica territory. Don't go there.
Don't ever. Yeah, and obviously Firefly will be in there somewhere. And 100%.
Yeah, there's so much here that they're so close to just having this, because right now, as near as I understand it, the antagonists are still either hostile wildlife or sentinels.
Yeah.
Or I know they put in some like no, there are raiders. There are raiders. They added that last time, where you would get like hostile ships that would jump in and like launch assaults on like your base. And you have to like scramble and go after them. So they could just add those, but on the ground, because on the ground I think it's still just the sentinels. It's just the people, the big robots. But I could be wrong about that. I don't know, man. It's
like right on the cusp.
I put a lot more time into a lot less.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, and this might just be weird, but like when Minecraft started, it was everyone, like when it got really popular, it was still a beta. Yeah. And it was just an open world survival-y game where it was just like no real goals. It was a lot of just build a place to live and see what you can build, and like you figuring out what can do what and things. Like it wasn't a lot of, and like kill your enemies, but no real goal. There was no like ender crystals for a long time or whatever they're called. And that's like it built itself along the way, and now it's much bigger than what it was initially from what I remember, where it was just you got dropped off on an island, good luck. And now No Man's Sky, it's so weird because when we played it for, I don't think I was with you for a dojo, but I was with you for either like a Patreon or
we played one of the
live
updates.
streams. Yeah.
We played one of the updates.
And even that seems so sparse and empty compared to what it is now.
Yep.
And so it reminds me of that kind of progression. It's just cooler because it's not all block people.
I played No Man's Sky with Nick Hodges.
Holy shit. I haven't seen that mofo in years. I haven't heard that name in years.
When he came into town, I think we played that. We played like the Scott Pilgrim game. It was like Jason
holy
and I.
Shit.
But, yeah. Anyway, it's out. Just check it out. You know, fucking No
we
Man's
should
Sky.
start a RageSelect fleet.
Well, you know what we could do is we could just find a planet and the multiplayer, and then if people wanted to play it, we could just set up a base, and then it's like anybody that wants, we can.
Are we making Planet RageSelect?
I don't know. I mean, like the problem at this point is just like I need enough people to say they'll actually do that.
Yeah.
Because last time I tried to make a server, it was like 3 people. So
that's fair.
Let's see. Speaking of space, you could get your Mass Effect DLC for free now.
Yay!
So EA has they're removing so it used to be that when you wanted to buy stuff for Dragon Age or for Mass Effect, like a DLC, it was that old system of Microsoft points where it's like you had to buy the points and then you spent the points,
right?
But they were EA points essentially. They're closing that whole system down, so you have to. So at this point, all the DLCs for those games are going to be free. They're just going to be included with it. If you still have points, you can spend them. But, if you've been waiting for 10 years to play Lair of the Shadow Broker because you didn't want to spend $20 on it, congratulations. Yep. Today's your day.
Good job. You waited it out.
Yep. They're still going to have points for the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer where you do the matches, get the points, then spend the points on the loot boxes to get the more people to play in the multiplayer matches. Mm-hmm. That's still a thing for some reason, but the rest of it is fine. So
it's all right.
Yeah, it's being depreciated. In other EA news, Amanda totally scooped my scoop on the new Skate.
Oopsie doodle.
That's all right. I think I mentioned this on last week's podcast. It's more of like a footnote, really.
Yeah.
Everybody, I feel like, was really excited when Skate 4 was Skate 4, and then they were like, now it's just lowercase Skate, and it's going to be free to play, and it's going to be online, and it's going to be supported by microtransactions, and we were all just like, oh, well.
Yeah, everyone was like, no, thank you.
Fuck. Because I want everybody to pay really close attention here, Amanda.
Yes.
I just got done talking about EA turning off services for an old-ass game, and we have had a lot of different stories over the last few weeks about game servers getting shut down. Mm-hmm. So, when the server for Skate 4 gets shut down, you'll still be able to get your PS3 copy of Skate 3 and play it.
Yeah.
But you will not be able to play the online version.
Yeah, I hate when they go and it'll be around forever and ever and ever. And it's like, literally nothing has been around forever and ever and ever.
Yep. You guys keep turning shit off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I think that this...
Also, it's weird for a skateboard game.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing, I don't know, it just doesn't seem
I mean, in a way, does it seem that weird? Like, is it weird to maybe be like, I don't know, you get on a server with a bunch of other people skateboarding, and then it's kind of like a social thing where you're all trying to outdo tricks for each other. I don't know. I'm not a multiplayer guy, so I don't even know what people want.
I don't get it. It's never been a thing. Anytime I played a skating game, it's always like, and then it's almost like meditative or like therapeutic. It's just you blasting some jams, probably Goldfinger, and the sounds of the skateboard and you fucking jumping around doing tricks by yourself in an empty lot where there's no humans for some reason, in a desolate post-apocalyptic world where the only proof of society is you, your skateboard, and rails everywhere.
Yes.
And I love that, and I just don't know if I want to do that and then 20,000 other people jumping in on my game, outdoing me, and I guess like I get a competitive aspect because the video game is always going to be competitive, but like also just like a fun video game is still a fun video game.
I don't know. I mean, like the thing is that I'm not a big. I don't know that much about Skate, because I played Tony Hawk a little bit, but I was never into Skate. But like for Tony Hawk, it doesn't seem like it would work because the thing with Tony Hawk is like I'm trying to do this challenge, and then when I fuck up, I'm starting over. Like I have 2 minutes. Right. Like I don't want to have to like skate back to the starting line and hit the reset button. I just want to hit a button and warp back to the beginning, restart the fucking Offspring, and go down and get all the videotapes out of the plane hangar or whatever the fuck it is. Like
I gotta collect all the fucking letters.
But that is not
what Skate is. Skate is
Skate's
different
more simulator-ish, as I understand it. I don't know.
So then it should still be less friends and just more cops stopping you from doing shit.
Well, I mean, I think what would be really interesting, what could be really interesting, right, would be if you could have your friends join as like the cameramen, right? Like
that'd be cool.
For making your own like little cut together skate videos and stuff like that. I missed what was it like? One of the Tony Hawks. Was it like Tony Hawk Downhill? No, that was the one that had the stupid controller. One of them had like It was like sponsored by Thrasher, this like fucking Sniper Elite X-ray system where when you bailed, it would zoom in and you would see your leg just snap in half.
Yeah, nothing will make your parents more confident about getting you that skateboard for Christmas than watching you play fucking Tony Hawk and seeing where you could break your bones and just how bad you can break them.
Yep. Pretty bad. The answer is pretty bad.
Also, like, if you're not like me and you just never get a broken bone, that just means that a skateboard's going to hit your shin really hard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of skateboarding, Vicarious Visions, who was the company that made the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake that came out a year or two ago, that then got absorbed into Activision Blizzard, their QA department has begun the steps to unionize.
Oh.
We had the Raven QA department. I think that the thing is that... so as not to repeat myself, it's interesting to see that so many of the unionization efforts that are happening in video games right now are in the QA department. And I think it speaks a lot to the fact that like programmers and artists are probably high enough up the food chain that they're already getting paid like stable wages and not being like fucking shoved in the basement with no with no resources, then expected to work for fucking 80 hours a week, right? Yeah. But the QA is just like, we're fucking human beings, you know, like, and if you're going to pay us like dick and then overwork us until we're burned all the way out, then like, what do we have to lose? Like, you could fire all of us, but you know, like, you know, you can't fucking stop the signal, man. Like, there was a news story. I mean, we're just a little bit off the beaten path, but there was a news story this week of just like, some Chipotle that was trying to unionize and they just shut it down.
And then apparently they were saying that like that's kind of their plan.
Right.
Is that if you want to unionize, we'll just shut you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I
mean, have you read any of those Starbucks? Any of the Starbucks locations that unionize? They literally take like the rubber mats that they stand on and throw them away so that it's more painful for them.
Yep.
And they'll just do random stuff to just like you're being punished for unionizing, which I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure they can't do.
I think so. I don't really know how it is because I've been out of the labor force for years and years and years, and I work a weird job where I sit here and fucking talk about goddamn Activision Blizzard and NFTs every week. But like,
you should unionize.
I'm starting a union. Shut up, me. We're shutting down RageSelect. We're going to open one across the screen. But for me, there's the narrative that I think of a lot is that you can pay people low wages, but you have to be really careful because there's a line that if you get too far below it, you're either going to have everybody quit or you're going to have fucking union shit happen.
Yeah.
And if you don't want union shit happen, you have to give it like a good 5 to 10% above that horrible I can't live and pay my rent line.
Yeah.
Because if you let your workers get too close to that line, then there's very little difference between like me busting my ass to make you billions in the video game industry or like, and now I can't pay my rent and I'm eating macaroni and cheese every night.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, well, if this is a shit job, then I could go get a different shit job. Then I could just bounce between shit jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're just going to pay me badly and treat me like garbage, I can work at Taco Bell for 2 months to make the rent and then like go
look for something better.
Yeah. Or we're going to stand together because it's hip to fucking, you've made it hip to unionize.
Yeah.
You've abused people to the point where it's just like, we would like rights. And they're just like, no.
My absolute favorite thing is all of these corporations and companies are like, you don't like it, do something about it. You're not. And then when they do something about it, you get like shocked Pikachu face where they're just like, what? I literally had my manager last night go, I'm tired of people complaining about money. You want more money? It's over there. And he pointed out the door to my face. He said that. 3 people put their 2 weeks notice in today.
The problem at this point is that, we're at the casino, and we've sold everything, and all we've got left is like, you know, the one chip left, right? Like we're not gonna see like, and then if we fuck it up, oh no, we'll lose our jobs, and what'll happen? I won't be able to afford my mortgage, and my wife and my children are. It's like, okay, yes, but you've now created a system where it's like, is anybody married? No. Do they have any good jobs? Not really. Do they own their cars? Nope. Are they renting? Hell yeah, they are. Is the price of their rental going up and up and up to the point where it's outpacing the amount of money that they're able to earn? Yes. Is management considering that at all? No. And so it's just like, you've come to this point. I remember getting treated like shit, and like, you know, my generation was a little bit more just like, shut up and fucking take it.
Yeah.
But even so, I could always pay my rent.
Yeah.
And like now it's a point where it's like, if you work 40 hours a week and then you got to do Uber Eats on the weekend just to have enough money to be able to
break fucking even at best.
Like, if that's the case, then why the fuck wouldn't you just be like, nope.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We're doing 1940 shit now.
I can't believe it. It's a crazy day and age, my dudes.
Yep. So they just started. They haven't done very much yet, but you know, like if anybody in the gaming industry needed a union, I feel like it would be QA testers
for sure,
because they get
I wonder if that'll change the entire dynamic of like what's it called, the like overnighting, the like crunch. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. I guarantee you that if unionization amongst QA becomes a big thing where they're demanding more pay and they're demanding more hours, the first thing that will happen is management will make another push industry-wide to raise the cost of video games to like $85 for a regular AAA video game on the new systems.
Yeah.
Because they'll be just like, well, we have to pay the QA guys.
And if I believed that, it would actually go to that and not just, and we can line our pockets by using that as an excuse, whatever. I'd be more than happy to pay extra money for something. The problem is for money because I want people to be paid for the work that they fucking do.
Well, and then I've said it before, and I will say it again, that I'm willing to pay $85 for a game if the game is worth $85.
Yeah, don't give me a broken fucking game.
Right.
Don't crunch you like overstress your workers because you set an arbitrary date that you don't want to break.
Yep. Like I don't want to play a trash JRPG visual novel for $85. Like, I just want you to make good games. I want them to take as long as they want to take, and I want them to be made in a humane way, and I'm willing to pay extra for that. If you do that. Now, if you raise the price to $85 and they're still full of microtransactions and they've got a battle pass
pay for it,
and they've got a season pass and they're a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Also, even if it is a good game, but you've set this weird line of what is and isn't a successful game.
Yep.
That's on you, and I, as a consumer, should not be punished for you guys being like, if it doesn't make enough money to buy me a super yacht for my little yacht to live on, then I don't fucking want it. Like, that's stupid.
Yep. Well, speaking of making a lot of money.
I thought you were going to be like, speaking of super yachts.
Speaking of super yachts. So, we got the news this week that apparently CD Projekt Red's stock price is down to a quarter of what it was when Cyberpunk 2077 was released 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they did make a lot of money with Cyberpunk 2077.
Wasn't that the whole thing? I kept arguing against Cyberpunk 2077. Everyone was like, but it was successful.
Well, I would say that I think that a lot of this is because the game made money
winning the battle and not the war kind of thing.
Sort of, but the PR war, the fact that every week there's a fucking story for me to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's a new thing and there's a new thing. And then kind of where they've ended up. I think that the problem that you're going to see with 2077 is that they have one in the short term, but like people will still buy The Witcher 3 now for like $40 or $20 or whatever. Like, I don't think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have I mean, like, I don't ever hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, people have had takes where they're just like, oh, yeah, it was fine. And like, I played it, it was fine. But I don't hear anybody talking about it the way they talk about, like, you know, Mario Odyssey or God of War or the new Halo or whatever. Like nobody seems like they're super excited. Like they're just like, man, you have got to play this game. Whereas like, my God, if I had fucking genie wishes, I wish that people would shut the fuck up about The Witcher 3. Like, Jason played all the way through The Witcher 3 like 90 hours. I'm just like, what the fuck? So
why did you whisper that? Into a microphone.
I don't want him to hear me. I have to talk really quick.
Nobody tell Jason that he beat the game.
Don't tell Jason. So basically they've lost a lot of value, and I think it's because stockholder value is different than like how much can you juke people out, how much of a consumer can you how hard can you rob the consumer with trailers that don't represent what the game actually is. Whereas stockholders are like, well, next time this could be a really serious problem because you've destroyed a lot of your credibility, which also says a lot about how their next project is definitely the new Witcher 4. Right. So but we'll see. In fact, there's another company, Techland, that's based out of Poland because CD Projekt Red is based out of Poland. And there was a Business Insider person in Poland. Techland isn't listed on the Polish stock exchange, but they kind of did like their own internal estimation of valuation and think that Techland might actually be worth more than CD Projekt Red at this point because of the amount of drop in their stock, which is kind of nuts. Like in a couple of years. So I don't know. We'll see if that makes any difference. All right, Amanda.
Yes.
We put it off as long as we can.
Oh, no.
NFT time, baby.
God damn it. Welcome to the NFT hour.
So this is a really, really, really weird thing. We know that Square Enix has a big old fucking moist hard on for NFTs. And they announced this week that they're going to be selling this cloud statue, which is a pretty cool statue. It's like posable. It's got some different hands and stuff, and some collector cards for Final Fantasy, and that they're going to have NFTs. Now, okay, this is so stupid that it should explain the worthlessness of NFTs. So this cloud statue, you can buy it for $130. That's a $130 cloud statue.
And it's a real statue?
It's a real statue.
We're not in the NFT section of it yet?
Nothing about NFTs.
$130 for a statue, not terrible.
Yes. For $150, you can buy cloud statue with essentially like a certificate of authenticity NFT. Like it's a version of this statue that is on the blockchain registered to you. Now, the NFT and the statue have nothing to do with each other. So you could sell the NFT to somebody else, keep the statue, and what they're buying is the digital version
of that
statue.
Okay.
Because it's like the statue will be manufactured in a limited run of a certain number, right? And then the NFTs will be it's artificial scarcity, right? Like you only make X number of cloud statue NFTs, and so they have value based on the limited number that there are on the internet. However, just to be sure about this, there is no connection between the actual physical statue and the digital NFT. So this should show you why these things are worthless. Because the digital thing is a picture of a figure that you could buy on the blockchain, or you could buy the actual thing and have it in your house. And I'm just going to go one step further and say that if you believe that the digital version of the cloud statue is going to go up in value, you're not paying attention. Like you're just not paying attention to the world. But that's not even the best part.
Oh, God.
Are you ready for the best part?
I'm scared.
These are pre-orders for the statue, which is coming out in 2023. It's due out November 2023. They're accepting, I believe, pre-orders for it right now. If I'm not, I could be mistaken about that. But anyway, when they announce it, it's coming out in 2023. The blockchain part of it is going to be run by a company called Engine. And they have and that's ENJIN, and they have a kind of a caveat on their site that says,
oh God,
if the Engine services end or are no longer provided to Square Enix, users will no longer be able to view or use the digital cards, digital certificate, and digital versions of the figure. So if Engine, the chain, crashes, like a lot of blockchains are fucking cratering right now, before this thing ships,
then that card is nothing.
Then it's nothing. It's not even worthless. It's null. It's zero.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't exist. Well, null isn't zero, but it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like it is the absence of a thing. So Square isn't even like guaranteeing you that like if this crashes, they'll move to a different blockchain, because they're obviously just like contracting Engine to do the blockchain management for their dumb cloud thing. And basically you're just paying an extra $20 for nothing. Like
the article that you have up for it ends with LOL period.
Yeah.
Just like
yep. Pretty much.
That's amazing.
I mean, you know,
who's fucking investing in this still?
I don't know. It's clear at this point. It's 100% clear that it's a scam.
Yeah.
It's a fucking scam. Like it's a scam to get you to spend money on a thing.
Yeah.
If they give you one for free, it's so you'll make an account on the blockchain.
And then it'll make you want to,
so that you could possibly do a transaction. Like if you sell it, you'll have Bitcoin or whatever the currency is that you might use to buy something else, right? Like it's all a scam to get you in. And then once you're in, it's sunk cost so that you won't leave.
Yeah.
Like
that's an MLM sort of garbage silliness.
Remember that
mixed with like 90s you got to collect it, it'll be worth something in 2 years mentality, and it's just like
fucking hollow foil covered X-Force comics.
I talk about it I think often here, but like working in a comic shop and seeing people in their like mid 30s to like early 50s talking about I have a comic book that it's a number one. It came out in 2004 and it's going to be worth. No, it's not, dude. Not. You grew up. I understand. You grew up in the 90s when people could sell their comic books for a lot of money.
You could do. I was alive in the 90s. You couldn't really do it that much.
I swear to God, it was like 3 news articles in the entire span of the 90s where somebody sold a number one fucking Superman comic for $1 million. Somebody sold a number one Spider-Man comic for $2 million, and somebody sold like a first appearance of the Punisher, and now everyone thought every comic book was worth something.
Yes.
And I can't express how little those comic books are fucking worth.
Well, because what happened was the comic book manufacturers realized that people wanted to buy these for the speculative value, so they manufactured a shitload of them, meaning there was no scarcity.
Yep.
So there were a dime a dozen. You want Bloodshot number 1? I got hella Bloodshot number 1 over here.
There's multiple runs. There's variant covers.
Yep.
There's so like not only you would have to collect all of them, and nobody cares. It's absolutely pointless. It's the same thing as like Beanie Babies, where everyone just decided that because they had a number system on their little Beanie Baby cards that meant that you had to collect them all Pokemon style.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's a weird mentality that people have. And also, just hear me out. If you have money to spend on frivolous things, spend it on shit you enjoy and stop worrying about making money off of it.
Well, I think that it ties a little bit back into what we were saying before, right? Is that so many people who are in the bad financial situation are so desperate that they feel like somebody convinces them to pull the handle on the fucking slot machine that is blockchain, because there have been some people who have made a fair profit on blockchain, but there's also a lot more people. They never show you the people who fucked it up and like put all their savings in and it's gone. Well, like that whole thing.
All of this stuff is that people don't understand investment, like actual investments, and that this is how they sell the idea of investments to I don't want to say dumb people, but they sell it.
It is for dumb people. It's
I know, but I don't want to say it.
Yes.
But it is. It's the way that they like I mean, you need to invest in your future, so you should pick a thing and invest in it. And then they don't explain that what that actually means is like something totally different than going to Walgreens and picking up the exclusive Walgreen fucking Marvel Legend that they're selling, because that's not actually going to be worth something. We're talking about real investments, but you can sell the idea of investments to somebody who doesn't know any better and has easier access to that than information on investments that I don't actually know anything about, because I would give you a real example, but I don't, like
you buy a bond or like a mutual fund or a CD or something. Like, there are plenty of, like, they're not sexy and you're not going to get rich but the whole thing about this is what really fucks me up is, in the age of the internet, there are too many examples of people who did something really obscure and then managed to walk away with a big profit from it. But that story is always, it's the lottery. Is only one person in a million manages to make that happen. Only one person in a million manages to become a millionaire for Twitch streaming. Or I mean,
you're talking to somebody who was born and raised in Southern California, so essentially in a high school of I'm gonna be the next people, and it's ridiculous and kind of sad to watch everyone be like, I'm gonna be the next Martin Scorsese, I'm gonna be the next Christina Aguilera, I'm gonna be the next this and be the next that, and you're just like, I just want to live. It's crazy, but yeah, like, everyone thinks that it's going to be their thing. And thus it means that a lot of people are making really dumb investments for things that they might not even like, in the hopes that it creates an easy life later.
Just if you ever consider doing this, just back up to the main pitch, right? A bunch of tech bros have decided that they've invented a new form of money. Does that sound stable?
Yeah.
Does that sound like something, it's like taking like a long time for fiat currency to evolve to what it is, and the idea that it's just like, no, you know what? We're smarter than that.
Yeah.
We made Twitter. We can make money. We can invent money. And it's like, no, you can't. You're too stupid to do that. Like, you don't.
We made Twitter, and a lot of people thought that was a poor decision. Right. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you who else thinks that blockchain is a poor decision. Minecraft came out this week.
Wow, would you look at that?
With a big old statement that basically says, nah, bro. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting because their statement was like, we think of Minecraft as like an inclusive place for like a bunch of people to come together and like collaborate, make stuff, have adventures, do fun stuff. NFTs and cryptocurrency are based on scarcity and like excluding people because it only has value if there's a limited number. And so, nah. They say we reserve the right to basically come back in the future and look at this technology if it ever evolves, but that for right now, no servers, assets, or like names or things or whatever associated with Minecraft can be used in any way on any blockchain or NFT project. Full stop. Not allowed. The end.
Nice. That makes me like Minecraft a little more.
Yep. Because I've seen stuff before about man, I don't know how the fuck these people think that they're going to get away with this shit. Like, people setting up like, oh, we're selling character skins for Minecraft, but as NFTs, right? So if you get one, it'll be unique and only you will have it. Blah, 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 all that
silly goofiness,
sucking dick noise. Like,
that's not what sucking dick noise sounds like, Jeff.
Anyway, but yeah, this is good. I like the fact that Minecraft was like, hell's nah.
Hell yeah. Now I'm gonna get a Minecraft tattoo.
What would you get? Creeper?
Just
Creeper face?
No,
face.
the thing that made creepers, which was the accidental pig. Do you know about that?
Yes.
That the pig, they put like the legs on the wrong end of the pig, and so it made it standing upright all long, and it was like weird looking.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll just get a pig with the legs in the wrong spot.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Because it's got to be obscure. I have to prove that I know something.
You got to get that street cred. Let's see. I think the last thing that we'll say before we go on break is last week there was a whole... this is kind of a weird dust up. And it's kind of... So... the company Unity, that makes the engine that people used for a lot of different stuff, has been doing a lot of weird shit recently. A couple weeks back, I think we talked about they were firing people, and then like last week they acquired this. It was like an encryption security company.
Yeah,
but it was nothing to do with the programming language. It was like an investment in an outside company that a lot of people were just like, why are you doing this? You fired people, now you're buying to their company. This has nothing to do with what you're trying to make this like gaming engine.
Yeah.
So last week, John Riccitiello, he called okay, so the quote here is that he called developers who don't think about monetization early in the development process fucking idiots. Then the internet found that quote and they kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
And then he did the thing that you don't do, which is that he went out and was like, this is some clickbait bullshit. They've taken me out of context. And
then people were like, let's look at the context. And then it got worse.
Well, I'll be honest. It doesn't actually seem like it seems like you just there's this real weird disconnect, Amanda, between like it used to be that when people were quoted, you would have like spokespeople, media trained people. There'd be people whose job it was to stand in front of a microphone and deliver a message without, or like when when they have the interviews with the actors that are in a movie, right? I remember, I think it was like Corey telling me about this a long time ago, where it's just like they just sit there and the people that are asking them questions, they have the questions written down in advance and they know the answers in advance and they just get to film.
Yeah, they pre-screen
their shot of like the guy from Entertainment Tonight, the guy from Variety, the guy, the lady from fucking other place.
Yeah.
And they always have the exact same answers and they just do it over and over and over again, etc.
That's why celebrities always look miserable when they do those. It's just the same. You're only allowed to ask 4 questions and here we go.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So this seems like... So then eventually, to his credit, Riccitiello came out with an apology, and it's like a fucking 5-part apology. Now, some of this, there has been some scuttlebutt, I believe, that some of this was because like people that worked at Unity were like, hey, my friends who are developers, who are indie developers, are like really looking hard at how hard it would be to transition to Unreal Engine 5 because like they took that shit real personal when you said it, like, and then you kind of brushed it off because... That's the only reason anybody ever apologizes anymore.
Yeah. Also, I'm like 95% sure that their developer friend was already looking into Unreal Engine 5, but they also wanted a apology.
Yeah. So the thing is that if you believe the apology, there's a 4-part thing here. You can read through it. But on the 4th point, of this, Riccitiello says, what I was trying to say and clearly failed at saying is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn from that feedback, and if the developer wants to adjust the game based on this feedback, it's a choice to listen and act or just to listen. Again, both are very valid choices. John Riccitiello comes from like big EA, big, I think, Sony Online Entertainment or stuff like that, energy, and I think that what he was trying to say badly was that like when you're a game developer and you're an indie studio, if you decided that you're going to do microtransactions or you're going to do any kind of adding on to the game, you need to like do some really early alpha testing, figure out where you can logically put microtransactions or monetization into your game, and then build the game around that instead of bracketing it on at the end as like bullshit costumes or art books or like soundtracks or whatever, which are good in some cases. But that like if you integrate it more smartly into your game earlier on in the design process, it doesn't feel as like tacked on for extra money at the end, and it feels more organic into what the game is.
Yeah.
Like if you're writing the story for your game and you realize that like you do early alpha testing, your alpha testers are like, oh, that part of the story is really interesting. Maybe at that point you're going to put in more hooks for a DLC that you can then put out in 2 months that's being developed towards the tail end of your game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, yeah. On the other hand, if you can't fucking like articulate your point correctly, you shouldn't be doing it. And calling anybody fucking idiots is fucking idiotic.
Yeah. What fucking idiot would go on Twitter
and buy an NFT. People rewind.
Yeah, I'm just like
NFTs for fucking idiots. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you think. Come for me, NFT bros. I do not give two shits.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Steal all my NFTs?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You take away the peanut butter sandwiches that I eat for America. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we've got plenty more, but I think it's a real breezy second half. So
hell yeah, light and breezy, the salad of podcasts.
That's right, the Caesar salad of podcasts. The fuck.
Here we are.
And Amanda.
Yes.
It's time for Fall Guys story.
Hell yeah. I love those stupid beans.
Well, it's not a great story though, because apparently
God damn it, Jeff. You set me up for failure.
Okay, well it's a real roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
So last week apparently people were having this problem where when they were purchasing or when they were going to like preview things in like the Fall Guys store, it was just buying them, like, without asking for...
Oh, it's like, you hit the buy it now button, haha.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's what, Mediatronic, I guess, is the guys that made it. They have, like, a very much a no refunds policy, and so people were having a really hard time kind of getting their money back. There were some people that, like, moved their account into, like, the Switch store, and they found that, like, the credits that they had were just, like, all gone. But apparently after looking at it, they found out that there was a problem with this. And so they basically said they are going to be issuing refunds for anything, if you mail them and you had an incorrect purchase, that they'll refund it for you. And then they're also giving people a free, I'm sorry, skin.
That's why there's been a bunch of they were talking about free skins.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they advertised it with this tweet that makes this very...
suggestive.
Yeah, this very suggestive. It's like one of the Fall Guys going like, oh no, and there's like a shadow. So
it's like a tall guy.
Yeah, with
guy?
a giant dickhead.
Yeah.
This is what is this? It is the this guy. This Grandis skin that apparently can now also change colors. So
it's weird.
It seems like, I don't know if you
but it's very Fall Guys-y to do.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, couldn't you block people's sight lines with giant dick tall head Fall Guy?
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of part of the competition, is just being stupid and silly and like in people's way.
Okay, fair enough.
But that you would be at a disadvantage for that. There's plenty of stuff where you can get smacked in the head if you like jump.
Oh, okay.
So if you're taller, I don't know how you benefit from that.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I feel like there's less benefit to be a giant dickhead, but
just kind of an axiom for life. Yeah. Generally speaking, I found
being a dickhead really makes life harder.
But being a giant dickhead is just kind of not the way to go.
You're really just setting yourself up for failure there.
Well, speaking of setting yourself up for failure, we got some footage for Ubisoft's The Division phone game.
Yeah.
Yay. 3 minutes of alpha footage. Okay, listen, I'm not a fan of The Division to begin with. But this looks like garbage. Like, it looks fucking terrible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just what phone games are like when they show the actual playing, like all the on-screen like movement buttons are taking up like a huge amount of the real estate. Even watching this video that Ubisoft made, it's like, it seems like aiming is really hard.
Yeah.
The frame rate's really low. There's all this like weird pop in, and this is early alpha footage, but by the same token, I don't know. It doesn't look even remotely fun.
Yeah, I'm not really a phone game person or a Division game person, so this is just like two bad tastes that taste bad together.
Ugh, tastes so bad. I tell you what though, the thing to always remember is that I don't actually know. Like, it could be that The Division is like the #1 earner for Ubisoft, or like it makes them $20 million a year in profit. And like, I also don't, as we just pointed out, I don't think neither you nor I plays like first person shooter phone games. I know the kids are all about that, or apparently if Fortnite is anything to go by. So I don't know, maybe there is a big market for this. To me, it just looks like a really janky, crappy looking game.
Yeah. It looks like an old game.
Yeah. Like if it wasn't for the fact that it was The Division, it would be like, oh, this is a Steam game that's just ripping off The Division.
Yeah.
Made by some...
That's probably the best way to describe it, is that it looks like it's a Steam game ripoff.
Yeah. Like an asset flip.
Yeah.
It's just trying to cash in on The Division. I don't know. Maybe people don't care, and if it's free to play, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess if you're like needing some first person fix on the go, it's like it'll scratch the itch. But also, if you have that need so badly, red flag.
I don't know. I mean, there's also
if you just need to shoot people so badly that you're like, I gotta have it on my phones just in case. Like, I don't know. This is a lot.
There's also just a lot of other devices that you can use for gaming on the go. I mean, even just outside of the Switch and the Steam Deck, there's also, like I was showing you a few weeks back, I bought a little like portable thing that just plays old NES and Super Nintendo games and stuff like that. There are a lot of portable
Raspberry
devices.
Pis exist.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, not my market, but it just looks terrible. Like it just the frame rate is so
less
low.
My market now than ever before.
Yeah, the frame rate is so low, the screen is real cluttered, and Ubisoft is kind of a mess, so I don't trust them to do anything at this point. So I don't know, maybe it'll be okay. I still haven't heard anything about there was supposed to be a Division Heartland that was like a free to play, like console free-to-play version of The Division, and we haven't heard hide nor hair of that for a while, but I don't know. Let's see. From there, we did what is exciting to me was there was a 17-minute tour video of the studio that makes Yakuza, and very briefly they panned over to a guy's monitor and we saw a little bit of the new Yakuza
Oh my
game.
god, it looks fantastic.
Just like so little, just a very, very little brief thing. We knew that this was going to be happening. I really liked Yakuza Like a Dragon, the JRPG one that they did, and this shows kind of some of the main characters from that game.
I really like the way their characters look.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that they're one of the best at making really lifelike looking characters.
That are detailed, but like versatile, and
they're pretty good at avoiding the like glossy-eyed Uncanny Valley. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, that Uncanny Valley. It's like just the right amount of realistic and almost stylized, but not like super cartoony or anything. I
also think that one of the things that Yakuza doesn't get enough credit for is the fact that their cutscenes are so well, quote fingers, shot. Like they're
camera
set up like a movie.
Yeah,
you know, as opposed to the just like, well, we got to get the two characters to stand, you know, in a two shot, waist up, going back and forth with dialogue. Like it's shot more like you're watching a movie. Yeah, and I think that really goes a long way towards
actually taking consideration to the idea that it's cinematic.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of JRPGs, we had some more information about Final Fantasy XVI. There's an interview with the producer in Famitsu, Naoki Yoshida, who had a couple of things to say. One of the things they talked about was apparently talking about why the new Final Fantasy game is an open world. They say that it would have taken like 15 years to make a full open world version of this game. And I think that that's slightly misleading, because when you read between the lines, what you find out is that the story of Final Fantasy XVI is very much a globe-trotting thing. So the idea that it's an open world where you have to walk
open globe
across an entire planet, like on the overworld map.
Oh, I'm sorry. No Man's Sky made entire galaxies, but you couldn't make a single planet for us?
Well, there's also the question of the Starfield question, which is if you were to make an entirely open world that was that big, would it mostly just be empty?
Yeah.
Would it mostly just be like walking across miles and miles?
Death Stranding?
Yeah, well, I like Death Stranding.
Maybe you would have liked open world Final Fantasy 16.
Maybe. I don't know. I personally am not mad at the fact that it's not open world.
I don't think games are required to be open world. I personally can't handle open world. That's too much world for me. I can't even handle open world in real life.
Yeah. I'm much more of a...
They're like, go wherever you want to go. And I'm like, like down the block for like drive through and then back home, baby.
You know what I want is so everybody's going to be just like,
oh, here we go.
Here we go. I want games that are more like Hitman levels, or that are dense but small, like small but with so much detail in them, because the levels in Hitman really feel alive.
Yeah.
Like they have a very different feel. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 probably has better graphics than Hitman, but when you go into a place, I don't know, I guess there are a bunch of things that you can pick up, like in Red Dead Redemption. Like you can get like, here's a can of fucking beans, and here's some bullets, and I found this, here's a picture that I can look at. But none of that stuff, it's all kind of funnels into the same system, and that it's not very useful. Whereas, like, I can't count the number of times in Hitman where I'm like, fuck, I need a screwdriver. Where would I find a screwdriver? Let's see. Is there like
a past the maintenance guy down here?
Yeah. Is there like a janitor closet? Because there's probably a screwdriver. Oh, look, there's rat poison. I need that too. Let me get all of this. And just groveling up like crowbars and rat poison.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, or you're like, oh, I need a chef uniform. Where is that? Well, is there a restaurant around here?
Kitchen I can go to. Maybe they'll have one. Yeah.
And so it all makes sense because your knowledge of the real world in a lot of cases is like applicable to what's going on in Hitman, where you can just figure it out with logic instead of having to learn dumb game logic or like, I got to hunt 5 turkeys so that I can upgrade my rocket launcher ammo.
It's a turkey launcher, Jeff. I don't know what you want from me.
The other thing, so this I don't have any particular problem with. Small bespoke areas, cool. That's what I just got done saying that I wanted.
Yeah, works for me.
The other thing that they talked about was why the combat is real time, and this is one of those things where it's just going to be what it is. The same guy in the same interview basically said, like, well, we looked at it and young people don't want turn-based games. They want action, like real-time games. Yeah. And we want to appeal to a larger crowd. And I think what they're saying basically is like, older RPG fans will play a real-time RPG system, but younger people won't play a turn-based system, and we want to appeal to a large audience, and so we decided to go with a real-time system. I think that's wrong, because, like, Persona is a thing. Shin Megami Tensei is a thing. I think that this is that Square Enix brain rot where they think that if they just put the right words in the Mad Lib, that they can have sales like Final Fantasy VII, when that's never going to happen again.
Formulate it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like turn-based games unless it's Pokemon, turn-based RPG style, unless it's like Pokemon. But so I kind of get it, and I kind of agree. But it's so could also just be my bias of just like, yeah, I mean,
sure,
who would want to play that? And it's like, well, people do. Yeah. Yep. And I never did. Like, even back in the day, the big thing that prevented me from playing RPGs when I was younger was like that turn-based shit is just rough to get through for me. I'm just
too much, just like and attack and then
yeah,
wait,
it's just it slows momentum to me. Like, it's never people be like, oh, so exciting, and you're just sitting there like, yeah, now it's my turn. It's like playing a board game all of a sudden.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, in all honesty, I've said this before. Oh, here we are. We're back to this. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that the problem with Final Fantasy 16 being real time is not necessarily the fact for me that it's real time. It's the fact that I don't like any of the real time systems that Square Enix has developed. They all feel too loose, too artificial.
Yeah,
they don't feel satisfying,
and that's fair too. I think you can do a satisfying version of any style of gameplay that'll like appeal to a large audience, or real time or not. Because like I said, there are turn-based games that I play, like Pokemon, like where you can and I will enjoy it, but then there's ones where it's just like, wow, this is wholly not enjoyable for me.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really how you do it and not what you're doing a lot of times.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll
but
see.
Also, Final Fantasy's for dorks. Get out of here, dorks.
I really want to like this game. I'm not confident that I will, but like this is a thing that comes up from time to time on RageSelect, is that it's like the reason that I'm gun shy about a lot of things isn't necessarily because I'm like a pessimistic hater. It's because I've gotten my hand burned on the stove too many times to be like, well, let me cautiously put my hand close to the burner and see what the heat is like before I grab it with my entire hand. Square Enix has not done a good job for me in a while for any of the stuff that they've done. And when they start having a better track record, then I will trust them more implicitly.
Yeah.
The same way that I trust fucking IO or From Software or Kojima or the people that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Because their track record of delivering to me the sorts of games that I would like to play has been really high. Like, I'm actually a lot more excited now about last weekend I got a wild hair, and I just replayed Bayonetta 2 start to finish. And it was so nice to play a 9-hour Bayonetta action game where it's always just like over the top and fucking all the crazy jazz, and here comes all the crazy plot lines.
Yeah.
It's got a whole time travel thing, and I forgot kind of what the plot of the second one was. And then they had the trailer for the third one that came out, and it was just like, oh, cool. So Platinum Games, I don't necessarily trust everything that they do because they've also done a lot of stinkers. So I'm like cautiously optimistic for Bayonetta 3 because 1 and 2 were good. But anyway,
agreed.
Let's see from there. We have I was gonna say, speaking of things that people into RPGs like, manga. This is the weirdest story I have this week, Amanda. Detroit Become Human is getting turned into a manga.
I'll read it. We love Detroit Become Human.
Yep. It's called Detroit Become Human Tokyo Stories. It's about the uprising that happens in Detroit, like at the same time what is happening in Japan, where they have a different relationship with the synthetic people, and
which would make sense. Everyone uses technology differently in different regions of where they live. What they do or don't rely on.
The main character is going to be an idol, a synthetic woman who's a pop idol. Basically. That's cool. It's funny.
I feel like when it comes to like manga or anime, that's a pretty standard story. Like for us, it's an inherently interesting one because for America, because we don't have a lot of shows that do that. Now we do a little bit, but it being a pop idol is so very Japanese to me.
It's funny, people fucking hate Detroit Become Human so much. Like,
I don't understand. I thought it was phenomenal.
There's a lot of without getting into it too far, there's a lot of like David Cage is like co-opting like racial justice imagery in the kind of androids marching for their rights type of thing. I didn't really. A lot of people who just like played that game and like they were immediately repulsed by that.
I don't understand because
I didn't quite get it, but
that imagery has been used for other.
Yep.
The Matrix anime series had robots marching for utilizing very similar iconography for but I feel like that's a little angry for the sake of not wanting to, like, angry for the sake of being angry and shit. Like I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, it didn't. I enjoyed it
because then you'd have to be mad at like the X-Men for also utilizing, like civil rights. storylines in order to create your own. I don't know, whatever. Detroit Become Human is really good and enjoyable, and you can like read into it what it is, but it is kind of supposed to be about a marginalized group of people fighting for their own rights to be people.
Yep. I don't know.
I don't know why you'd be mad about that.
I don't know.
It's not to minimize anything. It's just to give you a different perspective of that idea.
Somebody else can explain it. I don't know. Yeah.
But I will read that manga for sure if I can grab it at my local comic book store.
This Kotaku article also talks about making basically a gay manga about the what's his face, the detective and the little robot that you like so much, with his new robot partner with what's his face, the actor.
Clancy Brown
and his robot partner.
Oh God!
Making a, like boys love manga.
What the fuck? No, what? I mean, maybe, but no.
Yeah. In other kind of transmedial news, we've got Obsidian's Grounded is being made into a TV series.
So, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, which already was did you know there was a 2-season Honey, I Shrunk the Kids television series?
I'm afraid that if I answer yes, you'll judge me.
Well, no, I know who your husband is.
Oh, did you know there was an obscure television series that only 4 people watched? Yes, I am married to one of 4 people.
I am married to one of those 4 people. This is one of those things where, I don't know, I mean, like, we haven't done... We had Ant-Man, I guess, but we haven't done a lot more shrinking stuff, and the idea of like a bunch of plucky kids trying to survive in a backyard full of, I mean, that's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Delightful movie. You want to remake Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as a series based on Grounded? You're cool with me. Like, I don't got any problems with that.
Throw Rick Moranis in it and I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down clown, baby.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then also we found out that Nintendo has purchased an animation studio and formed Nintendo Pictures. So Nintendo is buying this company called Dynamo Pictures, which is a visual production company in Tokyo that does CG animation and motion capture. They worked on...
Nintendo's like, we let other people make a Mario Brothers movie once and never again. You want it done right, you do that shit yourself.
Yeah, they worked on so the thing is that they worked on like TV, they worked on Yuri on Ice, but then they also worked on like cinematics for like Near Replicant and Death Stranding. So they're a company that also does like cutscene blocking and development as opposed to just full on series, which seems like a good move. Like somebody that has one foot in games and one foot in media.
If Nintendo becomes a competitor for Disney, I want it to be known now that I choose Nintendo in our future corporate wars.
Yeah. I think that it's kind of weird to me that it's taken Nintendo this long to get into this.
Yeah.
I feel like they kept trying and failing hard, like especially, I mean, man, you look at all the shit from the 80s and 90s, like the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and all that stuff was kind of a disaster. Like there was an animated movie.
If you're looking back in the 80s at all, it was all a disaster. Don't just say it was just Nintendo.
That's true. That's very true. But yeah, I hope that Nintendo is always slow to act, but this can't. I don't think this could be anything but really a good thing. To be honest. The best thing that we'll get is either full length, either a show or a movie or something that these guys developed, or we'll just get like really better advertisements or cutscenes or what. I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, any way they utilize them, it'll be a benefit to them.
Yeah.
And thus to us.
Yeah. Let's see. In other Nintendo news, we got the confirmation of the 3DS and Wii U eShop closure dates, which is happening in March of 2023. You can no longer at this point buy stuff. You can't put money into those shops.
Right.
You can still spend the money that's there. After this happens, you'll still be able to download previously purchased things, but you just won't be able to go use the shops at all anymore. I thought this was really interesting because this story came out and it reminded me of how Sony was going to shut down the PSN store for like the PSP and the PS3 or something like that. And there's just this huge uproar. And they were like, okay, we'll leave it open. You guys want this so much.
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo doesn't give a shit. Like, they're just like, yeah, we're going to turn it off. And they're like, well, but I want to buy stuff on my Wii U. And they're just like, well,
no, you don't. Get a Nintendo Switch, baby.
Yeah, fucking sorry about that.
Yeah. Sucks to suck.
Also, refer back to our earlier conversation about games like Skate.
Yeah. The whole shop shut down. Yeah.
Yep. So, and then let's see. Last on the Nintendo front, at San Diego Comic-Con this week, Nintendo has a giant Bowser.
Yeah, huge Bowser.
Yeah, 663,000 Legos making the 14-foot tall, moving around Bowser.
Yeah, this is dangerously close to being a Five Nights at Bowser's.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's like an animatronic. It's so weird looking.
Yeah.
Like its head moves, its eyes move, its eyebrows move, its thumbs, just the thumbs.
Just
move.
the thumbs.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
I'm getting a hard Five Nights vibe from it. I'm just saying that if Bowser bites a kid's face at San Diego Comic-Con, no one should be surprised.
I mean, I probably wouldn't know about it until MatPat made 600 videos about it.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't understand the
Going
rich
into the
complexity of fucking Super Mario if MatPat wasn't around.
Yeah. They also had, I think last week or the week before, we had the
mini version, which is also huge, but the version you can buy and make yourself.
Yeah, the version of Bowser that you can buy that kind of goes with the Lego Mario set.
It's want it.
Pretty cool. Have you seen what it does? It's like it's got buttons underneath the shell where you can pick it up, and then let's see if I can find where the guy shows it. Where you can pick it up by the back, and then like it's got buttons where you can move the head.
Oh yeah.
And,
I do remember seeing this. Yeah.
Open the mouth and shoot a little fireball out of the mouth. I mean, these Lego guys they're pretty fucking solid, man. Like they're good at this shit.
I follow some master builders that work for Lego on TikTok, and people will just comment and be like a race car, but if it's a bunny rabbit, and if the bunny rabbit is also like a laser, and then they'll just and then they'll just build shit, and it's like, you guys are fucking wizards, dude. The Lego movie is not far off. You guys are crazy.
They talk a lot in here about how there's only like a few custom bricks in this, but that it's made of mostly like car and building bricks as opposed to like the people bricks and whatnot. But yeah, this is pretty. I mean, like the only problem at this point is that it's all just too fucking expensive. It's like,
Lego is very expensive, but I love them.
How much is this thing? It's like $170 or something like that.
Yeah, I would guess somewhere between 175 and 250.
That's the next story.
I was like, you just jumping around.
That's the next story. Anyway, it's expensive.
Too expensive for me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
speaking of Patreon.com,
it's too expensive for a lark. It's too expensive to just be like, oh, that's cool. I think I want that.
Also, because it's so big, like I don't know how or where I would display Lego stuff.
Yep. But speaking of Lego, as we saw, they made a Lego Atari 2600 that's coming out.
Nice.
And this one is $239.
That's too much money for me.
So it's the Atari 2600 with like wood grain and stuff, and then it's got Adventure, Centipede, and Asteroids as like little virtual cartridges that'll plug in. It's got a little joystick.
That's amazing.
What's kind of cool is that it also has this little pop-up diorama that comes out of the middle of it that shows like...
Is that like the little kid in his living room playing games? That's cute.
It's like a little kid in an 80s rumpus room with like a phone on the wall and like 80s posters and a boombox playing on a TV. And then also the little cartridges have like these little dioramas about what the cartridges are. So
that's fucking cute.
Centipede and Asteroids and Adventure... and then they also have a little like cabinet that the cartridges fit into. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. If you're a big like nostalgia wanker, that's fantastic.
I still think that the Nintendo with the TV that rotates that shows Mario on it is a little bit more interesting. Especially, again, $239.
Yeah.
If I was going to spend $239 on some shit, it's going to be the thing we're going to talk about almost at the end of this podcast. So
it is also that expensive for the experience of building it.
Yes.
So it's not just to have a little Atari thing. It's that you got to sit around for a weekend and put that shit together.
I also really liked the brick, the question mark brick that was in Mario 64 that opens up that has little vignettes of little tiny Mario things happening. That was pretty cool. My God.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
John
God.
got that Transformer. He got Optimus Prime for his birthday.
What is these? Just
Michael got it for him. He texted me and was like, "I'm getting John this for his birthday," and I was like, "I don't think I can say no to that." So
here's a $200 Ecto 1.
Yeah.
That thing is. Oh, it's like from the new movie. It's got the little like remote control guy on it.
Yeah, they have, I think, all of the Ecto ones in Lego version.
The Legos.
Yeah.
I'm just more interested in this $550 Roman Colosseum. Like,
yeah, they have a whole series of
my God.
I don't know what it's called. If it's just it might be
like
icons, but yeah, of different landmarks that you can, and they're cool. Have you ever gone to the Lego store in the mall?
No.
In the Galleria. We used to go because I'm married to John, and so this is a requirement at some point. But they have a bunch. You can make Thor's hammer in Legos, and it's like actual size. It's crazy, crazy. I tell you.
The Queer Eye
also,
Fab 5 loft.
I know that's $100. Isn't that crazy? Also, they have the Muppets minifigures, but they don't have they have a Sesame Street thing, but it's for the Muppets. It's just the little.
That's a shoe.
That is in fact a shoe.
That's an $80 Lego shoe.
That's an Adidas Original Superstar single shoe, and the box.
That's weird. Okay, we can't keep looking at Legos. This isn't a Lego podcast, but seriously.
It could be a Lego podcast.
We're going to need a much bigger Patreon. It's going to be a fucking $60 games ain't got nothing on
it's a Lego wish list
Lego
podcast,
shoes.
Yeah. That's about as much you'd pay for a Adidas shoe anyway.
There's just a bonsai tree.
My favorite thing about the bonsai tree is that the little, when you make it a cherry tree with the pink, they used frogs. So it's like 120 tiny frog Lego Lego figures.
Oh my God, it's the Back to the Future. It's the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, it's got the hoverboard and Mr. Fusion. Okay. I gotta stop. All right. Speaking of some overpriced bullshit that you can hold in your hands, let's talk about the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty basic story, but last week Nintendo put out a statement basically saying hey, as the world burns, you might not be able to use your Switch outside where it's 110 degrees because when your shit hits 100 degrees, it's going to turn the fuck off. Valve put out a very similar statement this week saying that Steam Deck performs at its best in ambient temperatures between 0 and 35 Celsius, which is 90 degrees or something like 95. Yeah. And then at that point, it's going to start thermal throttling. And then if it gets up to 100, it's going to turn off, which is not, computer hardware doesn't run at 100
degrees. Cell phones do it all the time. It gets hot and you plug your phone in your car and it's a hot day. And then your phone's like, haha, no, you're not. And then shuts itself off.
Oh, yeah. I started when I was going to go get my coffee, I would turn on my car. And as soon as the AC got cold, I would just put my phone in front of one of the vents. It was like, gotta keep the podcasts coming. Yeah, but nobody would run computer hardware at 100 degrees. That's too hot. We have gajillions of RGB cooling fans for just that reason. Yeah. So.
It's kind of like the warning when you have pets when they're like, if you're hot, they're hot, bring them inside. And it's like, if you're hot, they're hot, bring them inside. It's just the same exact
Put some googly eyes on your Switch and be like, do you need to go back inside?
Don't fucking give me ideas, Jeff. I have a tin of googly eyes on my crafting desk right now.
Well, then I don't know why your life isn't everything everywhere all at once with just Google eyes on it. Okay.
Oh, God, you have no idea. John and I looked at each other when we saw the googly eyes in that movie, and we're just like, oh, fuck. That's us.
Let's see. Where did I leave off here? Speaking of stuff you can play on the PC very soon, we got a features trailer for Spider-Man. Now, no longer just, or in a week or so, no longer just, or 2 weeks, I think, no longer just a PlayStation game. You'll be able to play it directly on the PC. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think everybody should put down bets right now. We should have a little pool about, will Michael buy a gaming PC in order to play Spider-Man at a higher resolution?
Anyone that votes against Michael doing that doesn't know Michael.
He's played it a lot, though. He's played Spider-Man a lot.
Yes, he has.
That's true.
He's already invested so much.
There's ultra widescreen support, DLSS and RTX, unlocked frame rate. Looks fucking great. I mean,
yeah, it looks fantastic.
Game's like, what was it, 4 years old? Something like that, 2018?
Yeah, it's still pretty peak as far as how it looks, how it plays, and how people enjoy it. It
even has support for the DualSense controller from the PlayStation.
Oh.
So if you plug that into Steam, you can get all the nice super rumble, haptic-y, feedbacky stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think I haven't looked into this yet, so don't quote me, but I think I saw somebody saying that, like, this is coming out on August 12th, and that somewhere down the line they're also going to release Miles Morales.
That makes sense. I mean, it's kind of just an offshoot of.
Yeah. Yep.
Hell yeah.
So, let's see. In other PlayStation news, the Bungie PlayStation merger has completed.
Nice.
So, Bungie is now owned by PlayStation, which makes people have, like, feelings about stuff. That is the less interesting Bungie news.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, that's less interesting news. Now for the boring stuff.
Yes. Well, actually, it's interesting because the other news from Bungie is that they are directly suing, like, an individual who, well, to be clear, has been, like, trolling Bungie for a long time, like hardcore, like keeps doing ban evasions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then kind of went over the line where they were tweeting basically like they figured out like where one of the developers lived, and they were like, oh, that's within 15 minutes of my house. You better fucking lock your doors. And then like later we're like, hey, is anybody in the local area like into arson? Because I've got a real good idea.
So that goes from trolling to
threat.
Yeah,
yes.
Real quick.
Yeah. So they are suing this guy for $150,000.
Oh yeah,
which is good to do. I I've watched the internet for a long time. I don't really have a lot of patience for people who are just like, well, you should just be able to do whatever the fuck you want to on the internet. Say anything you want, like threaten anybody that you want. And it's
that clearly sets up people to actually do horrendously scary things. There were people from Rooster Teeth who had to lock themselves in a closet because somebody broke into their home because they figured out where their home is. And that shit's scary. That's insane.
Yep. Especially, and like, you know, I know which side of the bread is my butter is on. Like, it's a video game.
Yeah.
It is a video game. If you're like, I used to have this whole thing where I would try to talk to people about cheese and how like cheese is just like, it's just fat. It's just fat on your sandwich or whatever your thing is, you know. Like, so maybe you should try to eat less cheese. And people would have this like violent, visceral reaction.
Dare you?
One person who once upon a time said to me, I would rather die than not eat cheese one day a week. And I was like, doesn't that tell you something about your mental state that you would say that? That you are so invested in putting so much fat on all of your food that going one day without it would, you were like, I'd rather
just
die.
Kill me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're like, I'm going to go to the developer's house and burn it to the ground, you shouldn't be playing video games if you feel that strongly about video games.
And
like,
there are so many more people than people realize that are a varying degree of that kind of dangerous.
Yes.
Of the it's not always it's mostly not people that will do a violent act, but it is people that will dox you. It is people that will harass support people all the time over this stuff. It's like constantly people that like take it too seriously, and it is a serious matter in their eyes. It's a fucking video game one way or another. But like they've had issues where people will find out where like the studio is, the address of like Blizzard, the address of whatever, because that's all in town, so we hear about it, and that like, oh yeah, security had to take precautions because people showed up. That shit's fucking horrifying.
I agree.
And I think that anytime it should be shown, people should be made an example of, as far as that's concerned, that like this is a fuck around and find out society, and you should not be fucking around unless you want to find out. I also just think that just the all the anonymity of like Twitter and stuff like that to directly message at people. I don't know. I'm largely, the older I get, the further disconnected I am getting from the internet as far as interacting with people, because it's just like, it's too much. It's so weird.
It's too extra.
Do you know who Adam Ellis is? He's an artist. I think you'd recognize his comic books. He used to do BuzzFeed art for a while. He did, it blew up on Twitter that he went online and he said,
I know this guy.
He went online and he was talking about Nope and Jordan Peele, and he said, does anybody like, we should all just agree at this point that Jordan Peele is the best horror director of all time. Like, is there another, sure, you could have 3 great horror movies from one director, but how many can you name that have done it like back to back like Jordan Peele has?
Sure.
And the horror community became obnoxious instantly and started DMing him homophobic slurs and just like threatening his life. And it's just like, what do you guys like? You could just say John Carpenter and not be a piece of shit. You can say Wes Craven and not be a piece of shit. You can say who you like and not be an asshole about it. But like even Jordan Peele jokingly like had a little discourse with him and was just like, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I won't take John Carpenter slander. But like people got upset and like violently upset with him, and it's like, why? Like even Jordan Peele's like, well, okay, like whatever, like you guys are fighting a battle and nobody's on your fucking side. Just
go away.
It's crazy.
Unfollow on Twitter, or anyway, I don't know. Some days I'm very, very happy that RageSelect is like this fucking like local punk rock band that like your friends and like 40 people that live in town go to see once a month. That's like the size that we are. I don't want success anymore. Like the longer the internet has gone on, the more I'm just like, oh fuck no. Oh fuck no. I don't want to have to put up with the shit that Markiplier has to put up with.
That's also shows who you are and your character, because the people that do want that are fucking horrifying. There's like a few select people that maybe are happened into it and then just knew how to like keep it going. But I'm pretty sure that there are more people that are just like horrifying narcissists that are more than happy to turn you into a cult. To do their fucking bidding any day.
No, sir. No, sir.
I'm more of a cult joiner and not a cult starter.
And then like last in Sony news, we had Sony's starting up a new program called PlayStation Stars that is
Stars.
It's like a loyalty rewards program where if you play certain things or you buy certain things, you'll get points that you can use for stuff. It's unclear exactly what that is, whether it's just going to be like, here's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles avatar, or whether it's going to be like Nintendo where it's like, you'd rack up these points and then cash them in to get a discount on the game at some point.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But either way, I mean, as long as I'm doing this job, it's not like I'm unsubscribing from PlayStation Plus or,
Yeah, I like that you'll just accidentally be thrown into the Stars program because you're already a part of everything else. And so Sure, I got a free game and we're going to play it.
Sure. Let's see. And then last in the news, Microsoft, it's been rumored for a long time, but Xbox in their Insiders program, which is like the beta program to roll into the main thing, is getting direct Discord voice chat support.
Oh.
So you can chat with people via Discord, or you can like add yourself into a Discord voice chat through the voice chat on the Xbox.
Great. That's really going to open me up for a lot more abuse. That's what I'm going for.
Well, actually, I mean, what you could do is, like, if you want to play an online multiplayer game, instead of joining rando voice chat,
you just
join RageSelect's voice chat.
Yeah.
And, nobody's going to fuck with you there. Like, or if they do.
Oh, no, I'll be the abuser if it's the RageSelect Discord.
Where's my backup? Get on the payload, you dorks!
Get on the fucking payload!
Yeah, this has been rumored forever. We've been talking about Discord's connection to Microsoft for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But it's finally there, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because by all the accounts that I've read, Discord is like on the verge of failure any day now. Because
really?
The only way they make money is through Discord Nitro. And how many people do you know that have purchased Discord Nitro?
None.
One. Because I used Nitro to stream games to people during the pandemic.
Oh,
and
right.
You get a higher bit rate with Discord Nitro.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
Let's see. Speaking of super exciting stuff, like Jeff's pandemic activities, we got our first announcement for Mario Strikers Battle League update.
Oh, yeah.
2 new characters.
I'm hyped for one of them.
Daisy.
Nope.
It's not Daisy.
It's not Daisy.
But look at Daisy. There she is.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's doing her thing. No, I knew that if Amanda was going to be into anybody, it would be the Shy Guy.
Shy Guy is my favorite villain.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Mario, like, obviously I'm a Luigi girl, but Shy Guy is my favorite. I love him so much. He's so stupid.
The fact that he's got the mask on, but he's got the helmet over the mask.
Yeah. It's for protection.
Yeah, I like even like his dribbling is just real pathetic. Like he's like,
yeah, he's cute. He's amazing.
Looks like a Fall Guy.
Yeah,
Fall Guys.
I am very susceptible, except for like Rabbids and Minions. I am pretty susceptible to just like stupid little bean characters.
Yeah.
Like Fall Guys, Among Us, Shy Guy, it's all the same to me.
As long as they're not like popular, is what I'm hearing.
No, they just can't baby talk.
Okay.
Because like Minions have that weird like way of talking. They're like banana and shit. And and then Rabbids is just screaming.
Yeah. I don't know. I've liked some Minions and some Rabbids. I like Rabbid Peach.
I like Rabbid more than I like Minions. Minions like bottom of the barrel. Rabbids is like it's all right. I liked him in the Rayman game, and they were like it was just a bit much in the Mario, and then everything after that is like anything. All the other ones don't make a talk, or they just make a weird noise. Like Shy Guy just makes a weird noise.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yep.
Prefer it. Stop talking. Just be cute.
We also got some new gear. Night armor.
Yeah, which looks really cool. I love Toad in the night armor is the funniest thing to me.
He's just got
because it's like around his giant dome.
It's around his hat.
Yeah. It's so funny.
And then a new stage, Desert Ruin Stadium. So
which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I never played Striker, but yeah, it looks fun.
Free update happened last week. It's already there.
Hell yeah.
Shy
Guy.
Yep. Let's see. We also got the Multiversus beta started this week, the closed beta. Open beta. The open beta you can get access to with the Founders Pack. I got to figure out a place to...
Did Michael play this? I feel like I've been seeing him post about it a lot.
Yes. He got access to it. I also have access to it. I think we're probably going to try to get it on the show at some point.
Nice.
It looks like what Nickelodeon was trying to do with the Nickelodeon Cartoon Fighter, but kind of better, except for the fact that it is a free to play, which is what this trailer is about. Talking about how like you earn coins, and then there's also real money currency, and then you actually have to unlock new characters. It's one of those things where they're rotating which characters are free, and then you can unlock them fully with coins that you have to get from playing the match, or with Gleamium, which is the premium currency. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but by the same token, it reminded me a lot of when Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and they had the crypt, right? Yeah. And you had to unlock it with currency that you earned by playing the game.
Yeah.
And people were real kind of mad about that. And
even though they've done it a bunch of times, like the crypt is not a new thing from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I think it was just that there was some stuff because of the amount of cosmetics. I don't really remember what everyone was all mad about.
Yeah.
But the thing that never made any sense to me was unlike a lot of other games, it's like, if this game is fun, you will want to play it.
Yeah.
It won't be a chore to grind because you will want to be playing the game, right? So yeah, and then I think that they did a pretty good job with like the extra skins. Like Harley has a classic skin that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then like movie skin looking.
Yeah, and some emotes. They also have, I believe, 2 battle passes, which I think is a little much. There's a regular battle pass and a premium battle pass, which is one battle pass too many for my taste.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
I don't know. We'll have to see once it comes out how egregious it is in full release. But it looks and sounds really good. Like they have the character voices, and it looks real smashy, and the backgrounds and stuff all look nice.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it looks good. It does look like. I mean, it also kind of looks like cheapified Smash.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like nothing's Smash except Smash so far.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's also had like 5 Smash games to get to the last one that was just like the fucking epitome of everything. I don't know. It'll also be interesting to see. There's a lot of potential for characters.
Yeah. I like this one. Seems like the closest I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Probably.
We also got a release date for Rumbleverse.
Yeah.
You, I assume, are somewhat familiar with Rumbleverse.
I am, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I love how much hate the comments have in the trailer for this because they used Twitch streamers. And they were like, oh, yeah, if there's anything I trust, it's the over-enthusiasm of Twitch streamers that were paid to be on this commercial.
Right.
It's just like, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because they look bored until they win, and then they're like, yeah, the whole time, and it's so funny to watch.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Iron Galaxy wrestling battle royale game that's been in beta. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks fun to me, but I'm also an idiot and I love wrestling, so you give me a wrestling game.
It's like, oh, what if Fall Guys was a cartoon wrestling game?
Yeah, it's like, oh, so you're just trying to sell to me? Because that's not great business tactics. I support it.
And it's coming out August 11th.
Yeah.
It's going to be free to play. So, we also got the intro cinematic for SD Gundam Battle Alliance. Another game's coming out next month. I don't expect anybody but me to be really super excited about this.
I watched it for 2 seconds and I was like, I don't need to watch this.
It's also weird. Okay, first off, it's SD, so it's like little chibi Gundams.
Yeah.
But then second, it's also a fucking multiverse. All the Gundams have been scattered, and you've got to like go to different dimensions to get all the different Gundams from the different series together to fight against the existential threat.
Yeah.
Which is some Japanese AF bullshit. Mixed with the current multiverse thing.
Yeah, the fad of the multiverse.
Yeah, it's basically. It's kind of like Multiverses or Dissidia Final Fantasy. It's just weird to me that they're all the SD versions, the chibi versions.
Yeah. Because it's cute, Jeff. It's cute. You can sell them all as toys now.
I guess.
It's toyetic.
Well, I mean, Gunpla is its own. The Gundam models are so prolific that they have their own anime based on what if when you build the models, then you shrink down and go inside them and fight your friends, Pokemon style in the Gunpla.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah. Gunpla is so prolific that one of the characters in the lesbian golf anime that I love so much has like a little sister friend that makes Gundam models and they're the name brand models in the show.
That's funny.
And they're not just the name brand models, but based on the one that she's making, it's like, oh, she has really good taste in Gundam Gunpla models.
That's amazing.
Gundam is fucking like, so you guys, I always
Japan
keen
had
to remember
a
that
giant Gundam statue, don't they? It's like,
oh yeah,
hugely.
no, they've got one that like walks. That's like life size. That's like in the harbor in Japan that like walks out and like raises its arm and then puts it down. And it's like the third or fourth one they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making them for real, and we're just pretending like it's not a real thing. Open your eyes, sheeple.
I want it to be a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get me one. This is, I mean, I'm interested in this. I'm much more interested in the I don't know if you've seen it, because I don't think I started having you on the podcast more after this was announced, but they're also making an Overwatch where it's just like, it's a hero shooter, but all of the different Gundams have different, so it's like one is a sniper and one is a tank and stuff like that.
I might have been here for a trailer for it or something.
I don't know.
Or I showed up and was recording regular videos and you were like, I have to show somebody this.
Yeah.
I get swept up in those a lot.
It's true.
That's what our friendship is, 90% just, I need you to see this.
But God forbid, they just make a single player narrative action Gundam game.
Well,
that's not a spinoff of another game or like a tactics game or something. So
fair.
No More Heroes 3 has a release date for Xbox and PC and PlayStation. And that is in October.
Nice.
Which is good. We got a new trailer for it. And
what is that character's name? It's always
Travis Touchdown.
Travis Touchdown. That's what it is.
I actually would maybe be interested in this because this one kind of fell victim to, it doesn't have a very good frame rate and it doesn't run very well because it's on the Switch. Mm-hmm. And like for big super fans of this game franchise, that's not a problem. But for me, it kind of is because I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really played many of them all the way through. So I don't know. We might end up taking a look at this at some point. Maybe I have this idea where, like the new Spider-Man game is coming out. It's like, should we just do like another set of dojos, but just like pick up from where Jason and I left off when we were playing it before? I mean, even then we would still just be in the first like 3 or 4 hours of the game. But
yeah, sure. The
same could happen for No More Heroes 3 because Michael and I played that.
Of course.
We got a trailer for As Dusk Falls. By the time you're hearing this podcast, we will have already recorded dojos for this. I am very, very torn about this.
Yeah.
Because I think that I hate the art style.
The slideshow or the look of it?
The weird, like we ran real people through Photoshop filters.
Yeah.
And then crossfade between various keyframes.
There was a really popular filter for like Instagram where it would like artify your face. And this looks so much like that.
Yeah.
That it's like a little disappointing to look at. Like I appreciate the idea of the art style. Maybe if it was animated, it would be worth like that, looking like that.
Yeah.
But because it's just that like slideshow style, it's a little less intriguing to me.
Yeah. The other thing is that, okay, so visually it turns me off. Mm-hmm. However, I've actually like had a whole diatribe of just saying how much I fucking hate the way this game looks. The other problem is that this trailer, as well as every other trailer that I've seen, is ambiguous as all fuck about what is this about.
Yeah.
It's your story. It's about family and the choices that you make. And it's like, crime. We're a family driving down the road. Here's some guys in ski masks. There's money in the safe.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving without you. And it's like, it's too ambiguous.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking know, because the thing is that like, the first thing I watch on Friday nights is Better Call Saul. I am not immune to crime drama shows. I've watched some in the past. I think they're very good.
Yeah.
But this is just so buzzwordy of a trailer.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that I don't actually have any fucking clue what this is. Is it a visual novel? It seems like a visual novel.
It looks like a visual novel. Like, it doesn't give me a great idea of what.
But then at the end, I don't know if you saw this, like at the end it says
Experience solo or multiplayer.
Multiplayer up to 8 players.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a cell phone? Is it like one of those cell phone games where you like get the app and then you make decisions about what the person's going to do on your phone, like that Supermassive game that we played? And the other thing is that it's got a good Metacritic score. It's got like a 85 or something on Metacritic. Or here, let me just make sure so I don't.
Yeah, you look it up. It's like 4.
I mean, it was
also as Dusk Falls is a great name for a horror game, and I'm disappointed it's not.
Yeah, it's so ambiguous to me about what the fuck is it. That 77, so not 80, but close to 80.
We're almost there. That's
I don't know. There's some also
high enough, I guess.
Okay. I don't trust 0 reviews. No game is a 0. It's not a game like that. I mean, even though I might not like it, I don't trust anybody that gives the thing a 0. So boring. And it's like, well, what did you expect? Look at the trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Chris and I are going to play it. I'm hoping that with his cinematic eye and he watches a lot of TV and a lot of crime shows and stuff, that we can find something to like about it. My first impression is very much recoiling in horror, but who knows, it could be great. There's no reason it could be, it has to be bad. It's just too ambiguous for me to make a assessment based on what I've seen here. So
I agree.
That's on Game Pass. Also on Game Pass this month, I was just going to say, as of the day this is out, Watch Dogs 2 is on Game Pass. Everybody should go fucking play Watch Dogs 2. It is the best Watch Dogs game. It's one of my favorite games. I love it. I love the main character. I love the themes. I love the fact that it's a modern day parable that delves into actual modern day surveillance state issues, as well as things like racism and like the cops. And, the first mission is you stealing the new Wu-Tang album from Martin Shkreli.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
They filed all the serial numbers off, but that is what it is. Also, I love the fact that in Watch Dogs 2, if you concentrate all of your upgrade points on the little floor drone and then the flying drone, you can get to a point where it's like, go to the mission area, and then you just walk Marcus up and have him sit down and open up his laptop. And I'm doing this with drones. I'm not going in the gang hideout. I'm going to have this little fucking bouncy guy zoom around people's feet and spray this one guy in the face with mace, and then just hack the system and open the thing. And then once you get to the end of the game, you can call in both the cops and the gangsters. So you literally just be like, oh, well, that place is full of dudes. I'm just going to call the cops. And then 8 cop cars show up and there's a firefight. And you're just like, oh, I feel kind of bad about this now. But anyway.
It's perfect.
Yep. Also this month, we're getting MotoGP, Sins of a Solar Empire, Rebellion on the PC, Torment, Tides of Numenera, and Inside.
We played through Inside.
We did. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last on the trailer parade, we got a trailer for Mothman 1966.
Trailer.
Yeah.
Like a little teaser.
It's kind of a choose your own adventure style game.
I've never seen the Mothman or Mothman.
I'm sorry. I sent you the wrong trailer.
Yeah, you did.
This is a very much shortened trailer from the one that I watched before.
Oh, okay.
I assumed that it was the same one. Yeah, there we go. This is the one I was looking for. Nope, that's the same one. 38 seconds. Anyway, I looked for this shit.
I've been failed. I've just never seen Mothman treated like a villain. He's never treated like a hero or anything, but this is oddly enough, I think the first time I personally have seen the Mothman be the bad guy in the baddie in a game.
Yes. What the fuck? Why can't I look for the trailer for this? Is this the one? That's not an official trailer.
That's not anything.
Okay. I don't know why I can't find this trailer now. It's just all...
Definitely found the Mothman prophecies, and I appreciate that.
Oh, that's the same one.
Literally the one you sent me.
It's the same one. 5 days ago. Why the fuck can't I... It's all just either playthroughs or the same trailer.
Yeah. Is it already out?
Yes. It came out this week.
Nice.
We were going to maybe play it today, but then I decided to play the Hell Pie.
But what the fuck, Jeff? I could have played this?
Yeah.
God damn it, Jeff.
It's like a visual novel kind of thing with this kind of old school graphics. It's got some other like some little mini game stuff happening in it.
Yeah.
Kind of a retro thing. I don't know. I'm a little bit. This is one of those games where I think like it could be a really interesting game. I'm not entirely sure if it's a good RageSelect game.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not a huge like retro thing that's been going on, like the retrofication of games lately, especially indie games. Like I understand that it's like necessary and easier to make oftentimes than to worry about like doing realism or whatever. But this one looks good. Yeah. Like I feel like they utilize it in a way that's like nicer, and it's not. I don't know.
It's got. I think it'll probably go on the list.
I'd take this over a slideshow of just photos of actors any day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. We'll be playing it at some point, probably. Yeah.
And I swear to God, if you don't play it with me. I'm gonna whichever co-host. I'm gonna murder them, and I'm gonna wear their skin, and then pretend to be them.
Is that what the Mothman does?
No.
Oh, that's just what Amanda does.
That's me. That's all 100% me, baby.
All right, let's wrap us up real quick because we're already over time. Inscryption is coming to PS4 and PS5 in August.
Nice.
Inscryption rules. Everybody should play Inscryption. I really like it. Just don't get too hung up. It does change around and get all crazy.
Just go with the flow, my dudes.
Yep. Into the Breach was updated with their new big update, the Advanced Edition. Free update for anybody who already has it. It's got 5 new squads, 50 new achievements, all kinds of new shit. Also, it's on phones now. So, what's funny is Into the Breach is it's like a puzzle game. Which is kind of interesting because it looks like a tactics game, but because of the way that it's set up, it's more of like a how do you get through this particular scenario in X number of moves.
Yeah.
Because it's like every turn more monsters come out of the ground, so it's like you have to figure out ways to, like, you got 2 units and there's 4 monsters and you got to figure out a way to chain damage to get rid of the current monsters before the new monsters come up and you get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
it's really cool. It's from the guys that made FTL. If y'all have never heard of it, it's totally worth playing, and it's relatively accessible. It's not as hard.
Yeah,
so
I killed everyone in FTL often.
You don't have to worry too much about that.
It's just a lot of oxygen loss, you know?
Yeah. A new Aliens game is in the works.
Ooh.
So this is a single player horror action game for PC and VR. It's being made using Unreal Engine 5. It apparently is being put together by some kind of Aliens veterans. So some of the San Diego Comic-Con, there's people talking about various authors that worked on various Aliens books. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, that's cool. I think Aliens works best in a first-person perspective because it's scarier.
Yeah,
than fucking xenomorph in your face.
Oh, I agree completely.
And
although I don't know, because Dead Space kind of had an Aliens vibe to it, and that was a third person, right, over the shoulder kind of thing.
Well, we had Aliens Fire Team last year that was third person,
and they just didn't do it right.
I don't know. It was fine. It was
just a little harder to utilize.
I think that a lot of times the Aliens, me personally, I mean, like, I'm just fucking saying what's in my heart, but like me personally, I think that Aliens, like an Alien first-person shooter, we haven't had a really good one in a long time.
Yeah.
Aliens Isolation doesn't count because that's more of a stealth, sneaky game. I think that you need to have very, very, very bespoke encounters, like the AI generated Left 4 Dead aliens and Aliens Fire Team were just like you kill so many of them so fast that they don't really present a huge obstacle.
Also, it stops being horror, which what Alien was.
Yeah.
And starts being a little more too actiony and too just shoot 'em uppy.
I think that having more of like a Resident Evil vibe would that was like an RE Village kind of style would work, but I don't know. I think you need to be able to craft the experiences very carefully to make sure that they work.
That's fair.
As opposed to, because in the other game, there's a second Aliens game on the that they're making that's a tactical shooter. That's like a top-down tactical shooter, which I just don't think works as well because I think that you need to have the visceral alien in your face in order to get the real reaction to what's happening. So,
yeah.
But, yeah.
It makes face huggers a lot more intimidating.
Very true. Dead Cells is still...
refuses to die. Is that
still
what it
updating.
said?
Summer this year, they're adding Panchaku, which is like the frying pan is an iconic thing. They're making it's a nunchucks
Nice.
With pans on them. Fall of 2022, there's a boss rush. Winter 2022, there's some new stuff coming out. And 2023 is apparently going to be the most exciting year in Dead Cells history.
God dang.
Dead Cells is kind of like No Man's Sky, except I don't talk about it ever.
Yeah.
They just keep on fucking adding update after update after update.
They're like, do you want more? And we're like, you're not dead?
Yeah. They just recently added a thing to alter the difficulty because the thing about Dead Cells is you're supposed to beat it multiple times and it gets harder every time. But like I couldn't get past, like when you beat the final boss, you get a boss cell, then you play basically new game +1, and to beat the game for real you have to get up to +5. I could get up to halfway through +3, hit a wall, stopped having fun.
Yeah.
Was like, I'll come back to this later. But apparently they've added some new options recently that'll let you change that around. Yeah. And last but not least, some fun stuff. Speaking of adding stuff to games, this is one of those stories that I just fucking love. A bunch of modders have added Winston
Hell yeah.
to the Sega Genesis Ghostbusters game that only had Ray and Egon and Peter Venkman.
Yeah.
And it's currently early. It's like a ROM hack that they added in where Winston takes the place of Egon, but now you can play as Winston in that game.
Hell yeah.
Which is great.
Give Winston some fucking respect.
Yep. In this article they talked about how it didn't occur to me that like the original poster for Ghostbusters but it's just the three guys. It's just that Winston's not there. There are 4 Ghostbusters, not 3.
Yeah. And he's awesome. And he's the Ernie Hudson is one of the nicest fucking celebrities anyone will ever meet. He's like a cool dude and he deserves some respect.
It's also kind of weird that they introduced the non-crazy Ghostbuster like 2/3 of the way through the movie. Where he's just like, I don't care. I'll do whatever for a paycheck.
Yeah. I'll believe whatever you want.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Winston.
Cool stuff. Let's see. If you're looking for some money and you're good at video games, there's a streamer, Critical, is offering a $20,000 bounty if you can finish Halo 2 with all skulls but one turned on the hardest difficulty level without dying once.
Wow.
Apparently this is so hard, like nobody's really done it.
Yeah.
Like there's one person who did it, but they were using this one skull that for this challenge you have to turn off. That's like if you have your flashlight or something, you can turn invisible and you can go past enemies. And they were like, well, that's
defeats
fucking
everything.
cheating.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. This sounds like a horrible thing to me. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But,
But maybe you want to show your gaming prowess for $20,000.
Oh, yeah. And then the whole thing is that you have to stream the entire thing so you can make sure you're not chopping or cheating or things like that. So, yeah. I don't know. You want 20K? Apparently it was originally going to be like $5,000.
Yeah.
And then it was like, No, wait, hold on. This is really, really hard. Like, I need to give people a much bigger incentive. So, and then you remember earlier how I was talking about if I had a lot of money, what I would spend it on?
Lego.
For $180, one of the Soulsborne lore people has put together a series of 2 hardcover lore books for the original Dark Souls, along with a large custom-made map and like a little clamshell case. These things are up for pre-order right now. It's $188 for the regular edition, and then there's an archive edition with like a little bookmark and stuff, and then there's another edition, and they go all the way up to $500. But
$500, that'll get me a new air conditioner for my car.
That'll get you like 2 Lego sets.
It's not weird.
These are this is from Loki, Lokey. I don't know this person as a lore meister. I don't watch their stuff. I maybe need to look them up, but so it's like I don't have like a huge mat on for this. Like but then also I'm pretty sure I would end up buying this and I just look through it one time, put it on my shelf. I'd be afraid to like I've always been leery about collector's edition books because all my books have been manhandled to hell and back, and I don't want to have to worry about getting fingerprints on my limited edition.
What if it looks like all aged because you manhandled the book to death, and then you like it gets lost and travels around and ends up in a thrift store and somebody finds it and it's just like, what is this magical lore?
$15. Oh man, what if in like 50 years and then I'm dead, and then like somebody finds this and they're like, what is this Dark Souls? And then like, I live again, the bonfire is lit.
Horrifying version of like never ending story.
Or maybe I'll just put the dark side on the last page, then when they put their hand on it, the ghost jumps into their body. Then Winston Zedmore has to come and fucking
hell yeah, that's how it all works.
That's how it works.
That's cool though. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's really, really, really cool. I can't really justify spending $200 on something that I really know that I already know all the lore. I know enough of the lore for Dark Souls. Like, I don't need Dark Souls lore. I need books like this for Elden Ring right now.
Yeah.
Well, they're still figuring shit out.
I need to understand now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last, I don't know. I thought this would be fun. Have you seen some of these AI face thingies?
I don't think so.
So, okay, there's this new thing called GAN, G-A-N, which is a machine learning model. Let me see if I can find the video that I saw before. Let's see if it was on YouTube. So there's a new thing that no, that's Mothman. Just searching for Mothman again. This is this is a EG3D, a new AI model that there's actually a Apple filter that can do this right now, where it'll take a picture of you from the front and then interpolate what the sides of your head would look like if you turn just from a front camera.
Yeah.
Based on AI.
Oh, that's weird.
This is the same, but this one is significantly better, and it's because they're using what they call adversarial networks, where they basically have 2 AIs that are like trying to come up with the answer and then comparing what they came up with to split the difference between them in order to have an even better idea. So all of these are from front-facing pictures of people.
Yeah.
And then they can like...
It kind of reminds me, you know those like haunted house, like Halloween tricks of the... it'll look like a statue, but it's actually like...
Oh, it's inverted?
Inverted,
so it looks like it's following you?
That's kind of like the digital version of that.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I am... Of all the different technologies that are out there, Amanda, I'm the most interested in the AI stuff. Like, the DALL-E stuff is fun to look at, but the idea that...
I like that they were like, and to really get your attention...
Cats!
We did it to cats.
The idea that we're already so far ahead that an AI can just, like, generate the entire side of a face that is unseen based on just the interpolation and looking at other things. Like this is one where it shows like this is when they're enhancing this stuff, this is like writing on the side that got enhanced, and you can see that it's much sharper on this one. I really think that this is the gateway to get us out of the way to make more realistic looking people is to scan higher and higher resolution people. I think that you would get into a point where it's like, if you can have an AI that can fill in close detail, or even if you can feed video of like what people look like when they talk, like with their emotions and their facial expressions in AI into an AI, and then have them start to add the subconscious gestures that make our eye tell a real person from an uncanny valley robot apart, that we might start getting some of these, you know, basically graphics in games that are almost indistinguishable from like just like watching a TV show, you know, of actual actors. Because man, we're really close. We are so close,
dangerously close. The funniest thing is just the noses.
Yeah, it doesn't do noses like super
really
well.
Points them out at people.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't understand what's on the other side of a nose, but.
But like it's really good compared to like the past version of this.
Yeah. They also show how they can kind of morph between the different
That's a
pictures.
Michael Jackson music video. I've seen it before.
Yeah, so check out Efficient Geometry Aware 3D Generative Adversarial Networks. CVPR 2022 on YouTube.
Yep. Wow. So just look that right up.
Yeah. Just bang that one out. And with that, we're done. There's a podcast.
Huzzah!
Whoa, we did it again. Woo! It always takes too long. Anyway, if you're interested in helping the podcast remain a thing, patreon.com/RageSelect is where you can go to help us out, kick us some bucks. In return, you get bonus videos and Discord server, and we can stay in business. And I think that's it. Is there anything else? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, I'm gonna go scan my face and see what the side looks like.
Oh God, no.
I don't know what's on there, but the AI should be able to tell me.